Man, I've talked about Kobe for a lot of years, and you never thought you'd sit in front of a microphone and do a video like this. You know, when you think about a good father is not an anchor that holds a boat back, right? A father is not a sail that'll take you there, but a good father is a guiding light whose love shows the way. And Kobe Bryant was obviously a great foundation for that family and obviously a great father. And Kobe was a guy that was clearly lighting the path and showing his children the way. And your heart just bleeds for these three girls who no longer are going to have Kobe Bryant to light their path. And when you think about a sister, you know, a lot of you have sisters. A lot of you wish you had sisters. A sister is like an angel who always has your back and always has your best interest in mind, always. Sister will provide unconditional love and, you know, a bond between siblings. Even when siblings grow apart, it's a bond that can never be broken. And when you think about Bianca, Natalia, and Capri, Kobe Bryant's three daughters, moving forward without their father and without their sister Gianna, it's going to leave a gaping hole in their lives that it's never going to be replaced. You know, when you think about the mother and the wife of a household, she is the rudder that steers that ship. She's the glue. She holds everything together. And you can only imagine how devastated Vanessa is right now, losing her husband and her daughter. And now, through the darkness, she's got to be that guiding light for her three other daughters as that family deals with losing Kobe and Gianna. You also had John Altobelli and his wife Carrie Altobelli and their daughter Alyssa Altobelli, who perished in that terrible helicopter accident. You know, John was a baseball coach, dedicated his life to helping young people, and he helped hundreds of players earn Division I scholarships. I was reading up on him. And of course, Carrie, his loving wife, and Alyssa, who was Gianna's friend. It's just tragic to see that family just lost in the snap of a finger as well. You had Christina Mauser, who was in the helicopter, and she was the top assistant coach for the Mamba girls basketball team. She leaves behind her husband, Matt, and their three children, who no longer have a wife or a mother. And you can only imagine the devastation in that household. Sarah Chester and Peyton Chester also died in the helicopter accident. And Sarah Chester was extremely active in her community and at Peyton's school. And Peyton was teammates with Gianna. She was on the Mamba girls basketball team. And they leave behind Sarah's husband and Peyton's two brothers. And all of these families have been just devastated by this tragic accident. You know, the devastation that these families have suffered because of this accident, it's heartbreaking. And I think everybody's hearts go out to them, because we could all only imagine going through what they're going through and how tough it's going to truly be for these families to move forward. You know, we as people, good people cry at the movies. They cry when they see a sad story on the news about a tragedy. People cry because when you see families lose a loved one, whether it's serving in the military or because of a car accident or a disease or a crime, or in this situation, a helicopter accident, you cry because you put yourself in that person's shoes. You put yourself in that family's shoes. And good people mourn with these families. That's what we do. Good people put themselves in their shoes and they say, what if What if that was their mother or their father, their sister, their brother, their son, their daughter, or their loved one? It's called empathy. You know, there were some people online, disgusting people, who felt that this was time to make a cheap political point about folks who were mourning and celebrating the life of an inspiration. What people really need to understand is that some of these folks with the blue check marks on social media, they don't have the ability to empathize like you do. They exist on social media for one reason and one reason alone: to play to their echo chamber. It's all about the likes. It's all about some, number that doesn't mean anything next to a heart symbol. And they're going to push their narratives no matter what. They're devoid of emotion, and they'll step on whoever gets in their way to push a narrative. So it's no surprise that these imbeciles, they used Kobe Bryant's tragic passing, along with his daughter and these other families, to push narratives and prove once again that these people are absolute bottom feeders of society, who they found to other mentally ill people. And I'm not making light of mental illness, but that's what they are. And they're going to pat them on the back because they push these radical narratives online, and just they have no heart, man. People like that, they don't do well in social settings because nobody wants to hang out with someone like that, man. These are nasty people. The sad thing is these social media companies, they prop them up as authority figures in society because we're going to put this check mark next to their name. And the truth of the matter is a lot of those people are fringe radicals. And they only seem popular because they get likes and retweets from other fringe radicals who they found a place to come out of the corner of their basement and hop on the line and, just disrespect the dead. And they really struggle to integrate in society with the rest of us normal folks. And that's just the truth. That's where they belong, right? They found their place to be relevant. And when you really think about it, they may get 1,000 likes and a couple thousand likes and whatever have you, but they're going to get a retweet. Or when you really think about it, folks, the United States is a country with 330 million Americans, and most trends contain less than 100,000 tweets. Do the math on that one. What percentage of society do these people represent? It's a small percentage, folks. So take what they did after this tragic accident with a grain of salt because they're scumbags. And I had to get that off my chest because I saw this stuff out there and I'm like, how dare you, during a time like this, take shots at people empathizing with the families affected by this tragedy or being saddened by the loss of an inspiration. Absolute scumbags, man. Now, when you think about Kobe Bryant, wow. An inspiration to millions and millions of people around the world. And us as fans, as sports fans, we all watched Kobe Bryant grow up together. Saw him grow up on TV. This young, brash, talented basketball player who grew into the man that he became. Obviously became a great family man. The protector of his household, the foundation, the Rock of Gibraltar, the guiding light for that family. Talked about this all the way back in 2011. I was thoroughly impressed. In fact, I called it his greatest accomplishment. With all the work that he did for homelessness. He went right down there to Skid Row and met with these homeless families and put a lot of money, time, and effort into my place. And trying to help out the homeless was a big passion of Kobe Bryant. And I always thought that was outstanding. When you think about Kobe, the man, I think there's a fair argument to be made here that he became even greater off the court than he was on the court as a basketball player, and obviously he was pretty damn great on the basketball court. For a lot of you watching this video, you know, Kobe was that athlete that inspired you to pick up a basketball. You know, for some of you, it might have been Dr. J, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, depending on what era you started watching the game. And maybe even somebody more recent, maybe a LeBron. But next to Michael Jordan, I think it's fair to say that Kobe Bryant inspired more people than anyone else to pick up a basketball and become a basketball player or a basketball fan. And when an inspiration dies, you feel like part of you dies. Because that inspiration was a driving force behind you chasing a dream. And Kobe was a dreamer just like you. You know, he was a dreamer. There's a lot of dreamers. They dream about it. And maybe they even chase their dream. But Kobe Bryant was a guy that put every ounce of energy and dedicated every possible minute to his craft and fully chased that dream. People see that hard work. They see that dreamer's mentality and the effort he put behind it. And that was a big reason why he inspired so many people. I remember videos of, there was one video in particular. I remember this basketball fan in China. Kobe Bryant went over there and they interviewed this basketball fan from China, and they were just bawling because they got to meet Kobe Bryant. And I know he had a huge following in India. And Kobe Bryant's influence and inspiration went far beyond the borders of the United States of America. And, of course, no bigger fan base than in Los Angeles where, you know, Kobe Bryant was everybody's hero. I want to talk a little basketball, too. You know, Kobe, a lot of us can relate to this, right? Kobe was a lot like us, at least in the beginning stages, right? He wanted to be like Mike. You guys remember those old commercials? Want to be like Mike, right? That was a lot of us. That was a lot of us. But Kobe Bryant obviously had more talent than all of us. And more importantly, Kobe Bryant's work ethic to take that dream further, you know, than any of us could have ever possibly imagined. Turned him into the basketball player that he became. You know, it was Jordan who inspired Kobe. Kobe put the work in. And then Kobe took that torch and in turn inspired millions and millions and millions of fans. And when you think about Kobe the player, think about all these other players throughout NBA history. I mean, there's no doubt. Stylistically, a lot of different ways. Kobe is the closest to Jordan. Kobe was the closest to Jordan. How did he get there? Like I said, it was by the work ethic. It was by setting that goal. I mean, we all set goals, right? Think about that goal, man. You're a teenager, and he sets his goal to be like Mike. And look at how close he got, man. And it's not just the accomplishments, man. There's a lot of esoteric elements to the game of basketball and the competition in sports in general. But I'm more specifically talking about technique, skills, heart, determination, killer instinct, and that will to win. And there are elements that I just named that you don't see with a lot of the top-tier athletes of today. Kobe was built different, man. He was cut from that same cloth as MJ. There's no doubt about it. You know, for us basketball fans, for years, there was this rivalry between Kobe Bryant fans and Michael Jordan fans, and we had a lot of great debates, argued with each other around the clock for a long time. And then something interesting happened. And you had to be paying close attention or be right in the crowd to really understand this. So we went from just rivals as fan bases to, as time went on, you know, you watch the LeBron James of the world, the James Hardens of the world. All of a sudden, us Kobe and Jordan fans started to come together. You know, and started to realize that we had a lot in common. You know, a lot of the things that we really appreciated in our favorite basketball players of all time, we weren't seeing that in players of today. And you had this alliance between Jordan and Kobe fans. And, you know, it's not that these athletes don't have heart, determination, and a will to win, but just not at the level of Michael and Kobe. So we all started to kind of come together after years of just arguing with each other, But when you really think about it, Kobe Bryant was the source. He was the reason a lot of us found each other on the internet and, had these conversations and debates and good memories, even though at times we got heated with each other and name calling and stuff like that. Still great memories, man. Kobe was the guy. And for me personally, I flipped, I fell prey to that points, rebounds, and assists argument, the XXYYZZ. It's still used today. And then I noticed, LeBron and Westbrook, and this is not a personal shot at them or anything like that, at a time like this especially, but you look at guys like that, and it becomes pretty evident that these guys play for stats. We're going to artificially try to increase our rebounds and assists to create this perception that we're better all-around basketball players than guys like Kobe and Jordan. And it's like, what's better, doing that or Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan sacrificing their numbers to play in a triangle offense and playing their role and being that guy to say, I got this, when you think about Kobe and his competitive drive, here's a guy that a lot of us viewed it as a mistake at the time. But my gosh, man, when you look at all the stuff that's transpired in subsequent years, you look back on it completely differently now. Kobe running off Shaq. Why did he run off Shaq? Because he wanted to prove that he could be the undisputed, unquestioned guy of a championship team, and then he goes on to win two. And then you look at some of the mindsets of today, guys chasing, for better teammates, chasing those super teams, and looking for the easy path to a championship. And Kobe Bryant, he was the type of guy that when it all was on the line, man, Kobe looked at his teammates and said, give me the ball, man. I got this. If I miss the shot, I'll deal with the consequences. But he was that guy and said, I got this. That's a leader. Rather than being a guy that the tough gets going and he says, here, you take it. You take the shot. And then I'm going to spin it as being unselfish. Kobe was always that type of leader who looked at his teammates and said, I got this. That's a leader. To me, when you think about the Mamba mentality and his aggressiveness and him wanting to be that guy to look at his teammates and say, I got this, how is that not greater than someone always looking for the easier path, someone always looking for better teammates, and someone always looking for someone else to make his job easier instead of being that guy that just says, I got this. When Kobe was on the basketball court, if you were a fan of another team, whether you wanted to admit it or not at the time, you knew, this could be that night Kobe goes off for 60 or 70 points, right? Maybe 81. Because when Kobe had the basketball, your favorite team was just at his mercy. Talking about a guy that put up 30 points in a quarter twice, 62 and 3/4 against the Mavs, and Phil Jackson was like, you want to go for 70? And Kobe said, no, I'll get that some other time. And just sat out the fourth quarter. Had a 50-point half. Of course, the 81-point game. 5-time champion. 2-time finals MVP, a league MVP. 2-time scoring champion. 18-time All-Star. 4 All-Star game MVPs. I mean, think about the All-Star game is supposed to be a celebration of the game. Think about the show that Kobe would put on at the All-Star game. Anyone remember Kobe embarrassing LeBron at the All-Star game? Remember when LeBron, in a one All-Star game where he wouldn't take the final shot? This is not to take shots at LeBron. Just memories of Kobe. Remember when LeBron wouldn't take the shot and Kobe's like, what's wrong with you? Because that was Kobe's mentality, man. Take the shot. Be the guy. Be the leader. Be the guy to look at your teammates and say, I got this. If they're going to call you the best, act like it, He had 15 All-NBA team selections, 12-time All-Defensive team selections. Was 5-2 in the finals. Here's a fun factoid. 35 times Kobe Bryant's team faced 50-plus win teams in the playoffs. 35 times. Imagine that. 35 playoff series. You were going against a 50-win team. 25 out of those 35 times, Kobe's team won the series. I think that says it all. He was a winner. Kobe's achievements, his accomplishments on the basketball court, they speak for themselves, right? You can look up the stats and all that, but one thing those stats will never show you, one singular achievement will never show you, it's a product of this. But it's his heart, his determination, his competitive drive. And the Black Mamba was just a flat-out winner. When you hear the phrase Mamba mentality, it fits Kobe Bryant perfectly, right? It really does. Like to folks who followed his career, you don't need that phrase explained to you. You know exactly what that means. And when you think about the family man that Kobe became, it's relatable to a lot of people because it reminds them of their family, or maybe it even makes them think about the family they wish they had. Most people can relate to and be inspired by Kobe Bryant's work ethic. He'd get up at 4 a.m. He'd put up thousands of shots daily outside of the team practice. And he always was constantly trying to perfect that jumper. And his work ethic is what made him a legend. And I remember a Kobe Bryant fan, it might have been 2007 or something like that, had sent me an article. And it was a beat reporter that was breaking down Kobe Bryant's daily workout routine, and I was just like, that is unbelievable. Kobe's work ethic was unparalleled. And some people call Kobe an overachiever. That is a humongous compliment. It's probably the best way to put it, because he would have already been great, right? But it was his work ethic that took Kobe from being a great player, a talented player, to one of the greatest players of all time and the closest to Michael Jordan. And when you think about that Mamba mentality and what that really means, everyone can apply that to different facets of their life, whether it be your job, your workout habits, your friends, your family. The phrase Mamba mentality means a lot to a lot of people. When this tragedy happened, I think it took a while for everyone to process it, and I think a lot of us were doing a lot of thinking. And for me, it brought back a lot of memories of Walter Payton. Walter Payton died of a rare liver disease, passed away at 45 years old. And Walter Payton was the most inspiring Chicago athlete in the history of Chicago sports. And yes, that includes Michael Jordan. Obviously Jordan not far behind. But Walter Payton inspired an entire generation to pick up a football. And Walter was the heartbeat of the city of Chicago. And even Michael Jordan himself once famously said that, this is Walter Payton's town. And when Walter passed away, as a Chicago sports fan, it felt like time stopped. The entire city was shook. How could this invincible inspiration die? We all thought that Walter would beat that liver disease. Kobe Bryant was the heartbeat of Los Angeles in the exact same way. And obviously an inspiration to millions around the world. And losing that inspiration hurts, man, and it hurts bad. Sports has become so corporate and so diluted with money and fame, and you see these athletes that get comfortable and they get those big paychecks and they just flat out stop working as hard. They start focusing on movies, their Instagram, their Twitter. I'm going to be in a music video. and all these other outlets to push their brand. They play for their stats. They play for the next big contract. But I'm going to tell you right now, that was definitely not Kobe Bryant. And for a lot of us, and you've seen a lot of hardcore basketball fans flip their script on Kobe Bryant. Kobe was the end of an era. When you think about everything that's pure and right with competition and with sports, Kobe represented everything right. He represented the work ethic, the determination, and that will to win through hard work. And not looking to take the easy route, right? Kobe, give me the ball, right? Mamba mentality. I remember multiple interviews with Kobe where the Lakers came up short. And all Kobe would talk about is how they didn't win. And that wasn't good enough, right? Didn't win, not good enough. He was all about winning. And when you think about all the different distractions and all the fortune and fame and how that could have really gotten in the way of his ultimate goals of winning, he stayed focused on the grind and he stayed focused on winning. The dude won an Oscar, man. You know, like he had big plans for the future. Remodeled my place for the homeless. Obviously was doing great things for his family, for his kids. Kobe was going to be great at whatever he set his mind to because of that Mamba mentality, because of that relentless work ethic. Definitely sucks we're not going to be able to see his Hall of Fame speech. And I think everyone with heart and empathy has just been torn up by this tragedy, man. When you look at his daughter, Gianna, she had a lot of promise. If you saw the Jimmy Kimmel interview, you know, she had that Mamba mentality too, where Kobe said that she was going to be the one to carry on the Bryant family name to greater heights. And I remember MG a few months back had said something about that. Hey, Kobe Bryant's daughter may be the one to change the way that people look at the WNBA. So in closing, for Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, most of us feel privileged to have witnessed his basketball career. Kobe gave us all great memories. And if you can't be inspired by Kobe Bryant's work ethic and the man he became off the court, something's wrong with you, man. Thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to all these families affected by this tragedy. And without a doubt, it's Mamba mentality forever. Now I'm going to play a bunch of voicemails for you guys, some from some of my co-hosts and some from members of the Blitz team, viewers, as they give their thoughts on the passing of Kobe Bryant.
You know, when I was a youngster, I remember I lost interest in the game of basketball. I lost interest. I video games, TV shows. I got into other stuff because I figured, well, if Michael Jordan retired, then what's the point? And then I remember hearing about Kobe's 81 points and hearing about his multiple 50-point performances, and I was like, man, I got to check this out. And I go into ESPN, and then I'm like, man, this guy's crazy. He's look at the skill level this guy's playing with. It's like Jordan-like. And ironically, looking back, that's how I found out about Bruce Blitz, because I was on YouTube trying to check out his videos, and then I'd see Bruce Blitz going against the Kobe hype at the time. And even though I was a Kobe fan, I understood where he was coming from. You know, Mark Jackson really did have his head up Kobe's ass. And it was just a crazy time. But yeah, it reminded me why I love the game so much. And I mentioned this before, but when I was young, I also read about how Kobe would get up at 4 a.m. He'd get up at 4 a.m. and he wanted to maximize the amount of hours in a day. And I've shared this before because it shows the impact he had on my life. Now ever since, I've been waking up at 4 a.m. I do my workouts always early in the morning, at 4 or 5 in the morning, always, because that's how Kobe did it. And I wanted to do that, and I wanted to have the work ethic he had. He inspired me in many ways, and it's just sad, man. It was the first time that, an athlete's death really hit me hard like that. Because, I got to see this guy most of his career. And, all those hours on the basketball court, trying to play like him and Jordan, and I could just relate to this guy because the way he wanted to be like Jordan, I wanted to be like Jordan. And it was hard. But I'm just grateful that I got to see him play. I'm grateful that I, really got to witness him in multiple interviews, read multiple books, and just, I'm grateful that he had the career he did. And all I can say is rest in peace to him and his daughter. Thank you, Kobe. I'm in the basketball court right now, and it hit me hard just coming here. Because I'm in the basketball court right now. I want to make as many shots as I can in Kobe's honor. And it just hit me hard, stepping on the court, because it just reminded me of all the times that I would all the hours I spent trying to imitate him, Kobe and Jordan. All the hours I spent here trying to do their moves, trying to take as many jump shots as they would take. And it just brings back so many memories. I learned so much from them. I learned so much from Kobe. I haven't had an athlete that's hit me like this ever before, but it's tough because it just brings back so many memories. But like I said, man, thank you, Kobe, and I'm about to hit these jump shots right now in Kobe's memory. Thank you, Kobe. Rest in peace.
Peace, big homie. It's your boy Blitz, man. Peace to the Blitz team. Peace to the world. You already know what I'm calling, man. It's Kobe town. Try to keep this straight, keep it intact. We from a different era, man. Our age group, us 80s kids / 90s teens, and one of the things we developed a mentality early on, just coming up in that era, was like, ain't no biting. Nobody bites. You don't bite somebody else's style. And I think a lot of us, when we seen Kobe come through, we saw the Mike influence, but it was beyond that. It was just like a straight up emulation of Mike, And for me personally, that shit kind of like threw me off. You know what I'm saying? It was a little bit of disdain towards that. And but some people loved it. Most people loved it, man. The motherfucker went out there and was really like Mike. And I think deep down inside, we all wanted to be that. When we hit the court, we all stuck our tongue out once in a while, or, you know what I'm saying, try to hit that Jordan versus Bird reverse layup on motherfuckers. And this motherfucker was going out there and doing it in real life, but he did splash his own shit in there, And I think some of us, we have mixed emotions about it. But one thing that hit hard is when Mike left, when Mike retired from the Bulls that second time, I realized something. Mike didn't leave. Kobe was there. And watching him play, man, it was, I can't front. It felt a lot like watching MJ, man, because I was enjoying it. I was entertained. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was watching a competitive motherfucker go at it. See, the thing is, these motherfuckers make it look so easy. That's what the greats do. They make it look so fucking easy, like they're not trying. And that kind of made it seem like Kobe wasn't as competitive, if that makes sense, in some of those early years. Like he was just a try-hard. But as the years went by, I think Jesse, what's going on, blood? Especially that 2003 playoff series against the Spurs when they knocked the Lakers off their crown. And I saw Kobe crying on the bench. I was like, look at this motherfucker crying. You know, that's how I felt at first. But then in retrospect, I was like, damn, that motherfucker winning meant so much to him. He was devastated. He was heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? That he had been to the promised land and he wasn't going back. And the years just kept going by. And more I realized, like, yo, this motherfucker just, he wants to win. And yeah, big homie, we spent so much time trying to break down why this motherfucker isn't like Mike, why he isn't greater than Mike, why he isn't better than Mike. And it's because of the forced narrative, the propaganda that was thrown out there. And that was the league. The league forced a lot of that through its outlets, its media outlets, because they were scared, you know, to not have someone as great as Mike, not have someone as engaging, you know, as Mike, that they would lose, you know, fans and viewership or whatever. And, you know, the bullshit stats that would come up, they would just create out of nowhere to prop Kobe up against Mike or make Mike, you know, seem like, you know, just a stepping stone. That was the media's fault. And a lot of the casual fans lapped it up and lowest denominator fans and shit like that. But that wasn't Kobe's fault. And the thing about that is they didn't need to. He very well stood on his own merits. The man, I guess that enraged some of us purists, hardcore basketball fans, and I'm mad at that. I'm mad at those sources for that shit because it took away from me just being able to appreciate him for what he was. And I think those last couple years, especially after the LeBron super team bullshit and all that shit started happening, and he was the elder statesman in the league, like, I really, really was fucking with Kobe, man, because you could see it. You could just see how different he was from the new coming in. And I think that speaks volumes in itself because he was that last great link to Mike in them era, not with just his play style, but with his mentality. And to all those throwback players, they didn't want to just beat you. They wanted to fucking embarrass you badly along the way. I only seen 3 motherfuckers like that. It was Bird, Mike, and Kobe, you know. We'll get into that some other time. But, you know, he was the last great link to that generation. There's no last great link to Kobe. I don't see anyone else with that, you know. And I started this off saying how he was a biter. And for a long time I felt like, you know, I'm taking away from his accomplishments, from his own career and what he was able to do, because I'm always throwing Mike in the equation. And it took me a while to realize, nah, man, I'm not slighting him by doing that. The man recognized greatness. The man recognized the standard that Mike had set. The standard that Mike set. Kobe didn't go out there to imitate Mike or anything like that. He saw what greatness was. He saw the standard of greatness that Mike had set, the precedent. And he went out there to reach it, to keep that standard, you know? Like a lot of motherfuckers, I didn't realize it, dude. He went out there to keep that standard, man. For the love of the game. He never took the fucking game for granted. I think after that fucking rape shit, he realized all this shit could be gone in a fucking heartbeat. He opened up more towards people, towards fans, towards teammates, towards the game. And it made him realize he's not bigger than the game. Nothing is bigger than the game. And it was a little bit of a shift. But I think deep down, no matter what it was, Froby, taking Brandy to the prom, Phoenix Suns in the playoffs, whatever, man, Kobe understood there's a standard, and I'm not going to let it falter. I'm not going to let it waver. I'm going to uphold this fucking tradition. And he did it by studying not just Mike, but a lot of other dudes, you know? And There's nothing wrong with that. He saw who was the greatest, and he tried his best to be the greatest, and even try to be greater than the greatest. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's absolutely nothing fucking wrong with that. And I don't see anyone else trying to do that, you know. Kobe, you know, you hear these motherfuckers like Melo always talking about, oh, we was with him on the Olympic team and watched him and do, but none of y'all get out there and put in the work the way he did. None of y'all. So, I'm glad I got to see him. I'm glad I got to watch him. And, Mamba out,
Hey Bruce, this is Aldo Sopa. Just giving my thoughts on the recent passing of Kobe Bryant, which was just a complete and utter shock, and it's just, it really shakes you to the core when you're an avid fan of basketball and losing a legend like this at such a young age, literally like just 4 years after his last game, and just his impact. And as a fan now, like a member of his generation, he was one of the last of like the true killers of the game. A guy that you were so, as an opponent, from a fan of the opposing team, and the game is close, you try to do everything you can to get the ball out of his hands in the last few minutes, because, you know, he had no problem taking the credit or getting the adulation for hitting the game winner, but he also had no problem as well with taking the responsibility if that shot does not go in. He had no fear. He had absolutely no fear, and he just approached the game with the mentality of attack, 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 and it's really is something that, you know, something that probably as fans we probably took for granted, knowing that we already knew we weren't going to see him play anymore, but also the fact that, you know, we're never going to hear his voice anymore. We're not going to, you know, he will not be able to make that Hall of Fame speech that he was supposed to be making later this year when he would have been inducted. And it really is a shame. And it's really sad, and we do miss, as a fan, I do miss Kobe. My heart goes out to him, his family, you know, with the situation that's happened with him, his daughter, and everybody else that was on that flight, on that helicopter ride. And it's just absolutely devastating. It's just, you know, his impact on the game is going to be everlasting. And, you know, God bless his family, and rest in peace, Kobe. We miss you.
I guess some thoughts. This is Billy. Some of you guys might know me. Maybe some of you don't, but who knows. Yeah, some thoughts on Kobe. First off, the thought on Kobe would have to be, man, I hated that guy because they were comparing him to Michael. It's more I hated the hype at one point than him. Is that hype gets really annoying. So I just remember that, and it's like I feel bad for ever thinking like, oh, F this guy. So it's that's one of those things. I think you know he'd look down at that if he could. Yeah, he'd even laugh. He's like, oh, you know, hey man, it's all good. Kobe was such a competitive guy, and he won me over pretty hardcore. I remember mentioning on the. I enjoyed the Lakers run with him and Shaq quite a bit, and Shaq wasn't going to do it without Kobe. I think Shaq can definitely retract that Kobe You Can't Do Without Me song, you know, which Kobe did it without Shaq at one point. And it was cool too that his repeat. I thought his repeat was very impressive. You know, up there, not quite where Mike's three-peats were, but not far off. And Kobe's a competitor, man. He's a good person. I mean, all the stuff he did with the homeless people, just walking Skid Row and you know seeing how things were out there, and he did a lot. You know, stuff we wouldn't even hear about. You know, so it's sad. It's really sad. I mean, obviously, way worse with his daughter being with him, and I know a lot of people, you know, kind of like are bummed out and it hurts and all right now. I said I'm hate to get to this sex. I just feel probably a hardcore atheist, you know, so that's fine. You know, just plug your ears for a second there. But Kobe was a devout Christian, and he and his daughter are in a lot better place right now. And I know people say it sounds like lip service, but I mean, just think about how shitty it can be on this planet. So he's back with Christ, and so that it's immeasurably better than here, and his daughter as well. So I mean, that's they're in a good place, you know. And that's so I try to look at it like that. Is a positive. There's some obviously a negative. His daughter's not going to have a life with growing up with you have a husband and daughter and all that, or son, whatever, family, and that's sad. But she's needed above, and she has a job to do there, and she'll do a great job. She was obviously raised extraordinarily well by a good man. So miss you, Kobe. I'll see you down the road, and I'll apologize for a bitch about you. So my bad. But it was more of the hype, man. I'm telling you, it was more of the hype.
Hey guys, it's Mad Genius. When Bruce told us he was gonna be doing this, I really wasn't even gonna do this because this whole thing is hitting me a lot harder than I could have ever imagined. Not just because I'm a Laker fan or a basketball fan, but Kobe had a huge impact on my life as just as a basketball player myself. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've been an emotional wreck these last couple of days over this. I never imagined to this level. I've cried, I've been angry, sad, all of the above. Just that, everything that's happened, and I mean, like the rest of the world, I wasn't ready for Kobe to go. It's just long road with Kobe, ups, downs, goods, bads, but it's been it was a fun ride, to say the least. I think I've stated it a million times. I mean, I was born in '90, so I mean, most of the '90s I grew up as a Bulls fan, and when Jordan retired, I was only 8 years old, and I ended up becoming a Laker fan. There were some guys on there that, Glenn Rice, who played at the University of Michigan, was the last person to take that team to the national championship game and win one. Mitch Richmond, who I was a fan of as a kid, was also on that team. And there were some other familiar faces that I recognized from, Horace Grants of the world and whatnot. So, I became a Laker fan, and I wasn't really, I knew about Shaq. I was 9 years old. I knew about Shaq and what Shaq was, and I liked watching Shaq play, but I really wasn't too familiar with Kobe because he had only been in the league a couple of years and barely played his first couple of years. So, over time, I obviously became a Kobe fan, like the rest of everybody else. Man, it's tough. But, it's crazy. As a kid, the first basketball game I ever went to was a Lakers game. Christmas of '99, my mom had bought me and her tickets to a basketball game, and it happened to be a Lakers game. This was the first year of their three-peat. This is before they became the dynasty, and everything. And actually, somebody had stole the tickets, and my mom went through hell and hot water to get another set of tickets to take me to that game. And after that game, I was a Kobe fan, Shaq and Kobe. Oh God. first basketball jersey I ever owned was a Kobe jersey. You know, I played in Kobe Bryant's all high school. Because of that, man. You know, you never know the impact somebody has on you growing up till you get older. Sorry guys, I'm trying to hold it together. But Kobe was a big part of my basketball experience, obviously. And it sucks. You know, it's like you always got those guys who are the reason why you become a fan of a sport. And Mike was that guy for me, right? And then you get those guys that really are there for your like formative years as a fan and a player. You know, like Mike put the clay on the table, right? And then the guys for me that kind of molded that clay, you know, Kobe, Duncan, Dirk, Iverson, obviously. Those guys molded that clay for me. And especially the competitive side, Kobe was the guy who had the biggest impact on me as a fan. And, you know, obviously I was a Laker fan too. So, I mean, it was kind of, you know, Kobe was my guy. Oh my God. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I'll never imagine. Never imagine. But you know, Iverson for his heart, and Duncan for his fundamentals, and you know, Dirk for his finesse, and Kobe for his competitive nature. Those are the four players that molded me. You know, when I was a kid, I was never, you know, super duper athletic or, you know, I had straight line speed and, you know, had lanky arms and, you know, I could do stuff on the court, but, you know, I was never crazy explosive or anything like that. But, you know, that's where Kobe came in, and that competitiveness, man, that I'll bite your head off to get this win, you know. A lot of that from me, you know, I got it from Kobe. You guys have seen, you know, whether we're playing Call of Duty or doing something competitive on one of the podcasts or something, and, you know, when I start losing, I get, you know, real quiet because I'm super competitive. And, you know, guys like Kobe had a really big hand in that, you know, and just watching this man's entire career. Like I said, first jersey I ever owned was a royal blue and baby blue and white Lakers jersey, Kobe, number 8. Royal blue with the white Los Angeles in cursive with the light blue outline, same for the jersey number. You know, because I wasn't in the jerseys when I was super young, but when I got in the jerseys when I was like, you know, preteen, teenager, Kobe was the guy for me. And had one of those. I had one of the Scottie Pippen jerseys, black with the cursive Chicago on it, because at that time you couldn't find Jordan jerseys in stores anywhere. You know, guys like Michael Redd, who a lot of younger fans don't remember, or T-Mac, and some football guys like, you know, Priest Holmes and Deuce McAllister was the shit to me when I was younger. Don't ask me why. You know, the Mike Vicks of the world and whatnot. And, you know, it's such a long road, man, with Kobe. It's such a long road. I mean, through everything that, you know, happened, from the Shaq getting traded, which I was mad at Kobe about, but Kobe was still my guy. He was still a Laker. He was still, you know, my guy. All throughout high school, like I said, I played in, you know, Hirachis and Hyper Dunks because Kobe was playing in them, all throughout high school. You know, I never in a million years thought this day would come. You know, most athletes that pass away, we get a chance to kind of see them post-career, and kind of see them grow old and do other stuff. And, not getting that chance with Kobe, really. Sometimes you might have some tragedies and, players die during their careers or something like that. But for, a lot of times when guys retire, very few do they die this soon after, their retirement. Especially if it's not something that's like of a, disease or illness related type of thing, like we still got Mike here and Shaq and Larry and Magic are both with us, or, guys in other sports like Jerry Rice and Randy Moss and, the Peyton Mannings of the world. And I mean, Kobe hasn't even been retired 10 years, and you guys have heard me over the last year and a half say, post-retirement Kobe is one of my favorite post-retirement players ever, him and Iverson. Just to hear them speak on, the game and just life in general, it's been a lot of fun. And, over the last year and a half, I mean, I've gone back and watched a lot of different, players that I used to watch, from Dirk to Duncan to Kobe and Iverson. And, the last 5 years that Kobe basically played with the Lakers, I hated him, I felt like he was holding the team hostage. I felt like he was, wasn't holding up his end of the bargain. And, the last year and a half going back and just watching him play throughout his career, I fell in love with Kobe, the basketball player's game again, and everything made a lot more sense. And it sucks. It sucks, man. The footwork, just the overall skill level as a player, the drive, the hunger, all of that stuff, man. It all came back along with all the childhood memories, and then I fell in love with his game again. And for the world to lose him this soon, man, and a lot of people who aren't like basketball heads would really understand, but like growing up, you had Iverson, Kobe, Shaq. For me, those were the guys, like, in terms of, that spoke to me. When you're from where I'm from, or Bruce or Grits or any of the other guys are from, there's just certain people that speak to you as a culture, on a cultural level. Iverson, he spoke to the street side of us, right? He looked and acted like we did. Kobe had that dog in him, and that spoke to us on that side of things, and it's we lost more than just a great player, one of our basketball heroes is gone, and I just never thought it would hit me this hard. Mm-hmm. And this is just great. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. It's I made me sick to my stomach. I couldn't even watch any highlights the last Sunday or Monday. Today was the first day I really have even been able to watch any highlights, but it's still killing me. It's still killing me. And I'm not gonna act like Kobe's my favorite player of all time, or I'm not gonna put him on the, make him the greatest player of all time or anything like that. But his impact is a lot bigger than a lot of people give him credit for, and his what he means to basketball. I mean, you look at the low top shoes that players are wearing. You look at the arm sleeves that a lot of players are wearing. A lot of players weren't wearing before Kobe. I mean, down to the tights that players wear nowadays. Because of Kobe. Because of Kobe. And, did he imitate Jordan? Who wouldn't, right? And was he Michael Jordan? No. But he was the closest thing we had to Michael Jordan. And, a lot of us didn't get a chance to see Jordan playing live during his prime. And, going back and watching, I got a chance to see all of that. And obviously Jordan's my favorite player of all time, but I got to see Kobe live, even the 81-point game, I was fucking up in the school back then, and my pops had put me on punishment, and he took all the shit out of my, only thing that was in my room was my dresser and my bed. And we had the league pass, and it was an early version of the league pass, but I actually snuck, when my pops was asleep that night, I actually snuck out of my room into the living room to watch that game. And my pops, he knew, and maybe he was just too tired to get up and say anything about it. But the next day he whooped my ass for it. But I mean, I snuck and watched that game. When Kobe dropped the 60 piece on Dallas in 3 quarters, I watched that game live. I saw so much of his career play out on TV. Whether it's a game or off the court, and this one hurts. Only Ali got to me like this. And I mean, not even to this degree, because basketball is my favorite sport. And, I can't think, for me, I've never had an athlete that I was such a fan of, pass this soon. And, and seeing how everything played out with obviously his daughter, which, I mean, that one kills me more than anything. Because none of his other daughters had taken to basketball, but she did. And she was a beast at it. And, anybody who's got family members, it doesn't even have to be, a kid or anything like that. But anybody's got a family member, cousin, niece, nephew who are into what you're into. There's just a different bond. And to kind of see Kobe's bond with his daughter, not just as a father, but as a basketball player, kind of happen in front of all of our eyes. And I mean, I said it a while back. I mean, I thought she could have been the one that changed the landscape of the WNBA, and everybody else on that helicopter. Everybody gone just too soon. And yes, it's, mainly about Kobe because of, him being the bigger name and all of this, but, there's 9 people that passed away, and, all of them had families and loved ones, and, thoughts and prayers out to all of them. And because it's a tragedy for everybody involved. And, Kobe's reach, I mean, you think about what he meant to China or in Asia, and to fans, in Europe and all across the world. I mean, the countless people who play the game because of him, the lives that he's touched from, the work he did off the court with, Skid Row and helping the homeless out, and him trying to, venture into other stuff to, give kids another outlet, or, coaching and just the other things that he was trying to bring to the world, man. It sucks, man. It sucks a lot. And, man, I'm hurt. I never thought, man. I didn't believe it, man. It took when I woke up and I saw it, because I woke up middle of the day because I was up all night and morning, and I woke up and I saw the news. I didn't believe it. And once it was confirmed, it took about an hour for it to hit me. And once it hit me, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I didn't sleep. I didn't have an appetite. And for the life of me, I can't put a finger on why, because, I didn't know him personally, obviously, or never met him. But, I just think it's because of his, impact on me as a basketball fan, man, as a hoops head, he is one of the reasons why I love the game the way I do. He's one of the reasons why I view the game the way I do, why, a lot of the players today don't relate to me in the sense of competitiveness. And he was one of the last of the dying breed, funny, because him and Duncan and Garnett, we're supposed to go in the Hall of Fame together this year. And those are the last of besides Vince Carter, those are the last of that generation of guys who embodied what I loved about the sport of basketball. You got some guys nowadays who, love the game, or, some guys who are, somewhat competitive, but it's just different, like they don't have that same mental makeup of the guys of the past. And, I think maybe that's, and this isn't, a video, a moment for me to be taking a shit on LeBron, but I think that's my biggest disconnect with him, is that same fierce competitiveness, like guys like Kobe and Jordan and, Magic and Bird and, some of those other guys, man, if they would, they would lose a leg if they had to win. I don't think LeBron would do that. I think LeBron wants to win on his own terms, and I don't think he is willing to make those type of sacrifices. And I think that's my disconnect with him mainly, and for Kobe to be one of those guys that had that, it's just far too soon. It's just far too soon. Far too soon, man. I'm not gonna take up too much more of you guys' time. I just knew I couldn't let this video go by with me being one of the only two, Laker fans out of the panel, along with Vegas Mike, who I know Vegas Mike is probably feeling pretty close to how I'm feeling. I couldn't, not speak on Kobe Bryant, man. Vino, Black Mamba, Froby, as a lot of us call him from earlier in his career. That dude, he was a good dude, man. He had a past, but he grew, and you could see the influence of some of the other players and on him in terms of like the Bill Russells and the Mikes of the world. And me and Grits were talking about this, about the game was never bigger than him, and he loved the game as much as anybody could possibly love the game. There's players who were better than him, some who weren't as good as him, but he loved the game as much as anybody who ever played. And the basketball world will miss him, and the world of and just the world in general will miss Kobe. And it sucks, man. It sucks. But I'm not gonna be too much longer, guys. I'm sorry. Let me just close this out by saying favorite moment was Lakers winning that fourth ring, man. after everything that went down with Shaq and all the previous years of just not winning and having to watch Kobe play with guys like Smush Parker and Kwame Brown and Chris Mihm. That fourth championship was sweet, man. And the second one was just as sweet because we beat the Celtics. And even though, I argued till I was blue in the face about Paul Gasol needing to win Finals MVP of that second one, Kobe was still the guy, and Kobe was the man. And may he and his daughter Gigi, the rest of the people on the flight, may they rest in peace. Long live 8, long live 24. And he will definitely never be forgotten. And his impact on me will never be taken for granted. And he'll forever be a Laker, and he'll forever be one of the most influential players to ever play the game, and his impact will live on throughout the history of the game, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to the day when I can finally not cry, and so I can actually sit there and watch his highlights and some of his games and smile and laugh and enjoy them. But I'm still not ready for that yet. So thank you guys for your time, and thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Kobe.
What is good, Blitz Team? This is Shane calling back from Toronto. Today is it's a tough day to talk about everything, just in general. Today, before everything today, it was already a tough day for me, personally. Just dealing with some personal anniversaries in my life over the past couple of years, and after just dealing with everything I've dealt with personally in my life that I don't want to get into really. But today the news about Kobe Bryant was personally just very heartbreaking. I think it's heartbreaking for the entire world in general. I don't know what to say right now. I still can't believe that it happened, and I'm really at a loss for words. I started watching basketball in 2005. I've always been a Spurs fan since day one. The first game I ever watched was in 2004 between the Spurs and Kings. I'm a pretty young member of the Blitz team, and I became a Spurs fan from that moment on. And I love the team. I love it to death today. I don't watch the league as much today as I used to, but I still love the game. I love the sport of basketball. It's always going to be a part of my DNA. And then a guy I recognized named Kobe Bryant showed up, and man, as a Spurs fan, I hated watching Kobe Bryant. It was just the rivalry, man. The rivalry was so special in the 2000s and a little bit in the 2010s, just the Spurs and Lakers and the Spurs and Lakers. I've never feared going against an opponent in my entire life more than Kobe Bryant, not just because of his abilities on the court, but just his mentality. We talk about Jordan all the time, and granted so, he's the greatest of all time, but in terms of people past Jordan, there's never been a player that's had the mentality, not to the level of Jordan, because Jordan was definitely a little psychotic at times, but definitely in terms of the winning mentality, there's very few people in sports in general that have been able to captivate the imaginations of sports fans all over the world and be able to make people see the greatness and the winning mentality behind the person more than Kobe Bryant has over the past 20 years. And just so many memories rooting against him, memories I look back with more fondness, with more appreciation for. I don't think I ever appreciated Kobe as much as I should have as a player. And honestly, my lack of appreciation as a player was granted since it's a rivalry. And you kind of, and when you get lost in the rivalry, and I've heard Grits talk about it multiple times as a Knicks fan, and I know it's a completely different situation when the Spurs and the Lakers and the Knicks and Bulls, but Grits talking about Jordan is one of my favorite parts of the team, honestly. Because you see a guy, because I just feel like I'm hearing a guy who grew up some amazing appreciation for a guy he disdained for so much of his life, and it's very understandable to disdain a guy like Jordan as a Knicks fan back in the day. But I felt not this exact same way, but a very similar way when it came to Kobe Bryant for so much of my life. And it was much deeper than basketball that made me appreciate Kobe Bryant, and I'm happy that I was able to appreciate Kobe Bryant after his career, and it was much deeper than basketball. It was. I remember because I've been a part of the Blitz team. I've been listening to you guys since about 2012, 2013. I was a member of the Blitz team around 2014, 2015. But I remember when specifically Bruce mentioned the Skid Row stuff, and I've grown up in some tough neighborhoods and some stuff, and I've come back on the better side of things at times. Definitely a lot better than a lot of other people to sadly not here with us right now, but seeing what Kobe did for his neighborhood and what he did for Skid Row and what he did for that community, just from a human aspect, that's what made me appreciate Kobe Bryant. It was much more than just basketball. The person himself, I can never grasp what he was able to do for that community, and what he was able to do for those kids in that community. It was so beautiful to read about and so much amazing to hear about from, especially Bruce, when he was the first person that brought me onto that story and brought a lot of us in the Blitz team to that whole story. Man, he had his issues early on in his life, and he had I felt like when it came to young Kobe, and I tweeted this out earlier, he made his mistakes, and not just in his personal life. Definitely, I don't want to bring that up at all today, but like as a player, when it came to the way he viewed the game, the whole fallout with Shaq and everything. But then I feel like as we developed and we saw the rest of his career past that point in 2004, we saw the man he became, the great man he became, the father he became, the amazing father he became, and the husband he ended up being, and not just Kobe, but his daughter. Because when it comes to his daughter, I think that we'll never be able to see what she could have become. We never will. And there were so many people talking about Kobe wanted his son, and I went back and I watched a Jimmy Kimmel interview he had from a couple months ago where she was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna become that person, because a fan asked Kobe about having a son and how to carry on the legacy, and she said that she will do it. And who knows what she would become if she was still here. She was so young, 14 years old, just so tragic, and everybody else who was a part of that tragedy. I believe it was 7 people. I know there was a former coach and a husband and a wife and their daughter or their son who was on that flight as well, who all passed away, and rest in peace to all of them as well. But who knows what they would have became, what she would have became. And Kobe was able to spend that time with her and his daughters after his career, and it's never enough time when it comes to parents and a child, and it's hard to think about something like that. I don't want to get into anything, but it's just very painful to go through a loss of a parent, a loss of obviously when you're talking about Vanessa, a husband, a sister. It's just I feel for that family so much. I really do. And it's just amazing that we got to witness a career like Kobe Bryant. Like, Kobe's the second most popular player in the history of the NBA. He's the most popular player in the world to me over the last 20 years. People can argue Ronaldo and Messi. Kobe, the way he was able to become not just an NBA star, but a global sensation was something that we have not seen since Jordan in America. And I never grew up liking Kobe, but I grew up appreciating what he became and the man he became, and appreciating what he was able to do for the league that I loved and the sport that I love, and greatly because of him. You know, this is going to be a tough day for me going forward with everything that's happened in my life on January 26th, and now I do, you know, what happened with Kobe. A true inspiration to a lot of people, especially in my generation, and a true inspiration to the sport that I love. And a big reason why I love this sport and why I love sports in general and why I'm even on this website, a big reason is because of Kobe Bryant. And that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for listening. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Hey, what's up, Blitz Team? This is Wyatt. Yeah, I'm calling to give my thoughts on the tragedy that happened with Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, and everybody that passed. Yeah, it's kind of hard to even go into it, just the tragedy of it. But you know, when somebody passes away, that, I mean, you may not have known them, but they've given you so much joy and entertainment in your life. Even though you didn't know them, it's kind of, it takes you back. I understand it. I mean, like the way Kobe Bryant, he was the face of the NBA for a while, for a long time, and I mean, he had that champion's mentality. He embodied hard work, dedication. He just embodied that. So, and you know, he inspired a generation of players, a generation of people. He would, you know, like everyone, I've seen a lot of people say, the generation that grew up on him would like throw the ball, the trash in the trash can, yell Kobe. Yeah, even Dave Chappelle even mentioned it in one of his skits, and he's like, Kobe. I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking, you know, especially that his daughter was on the helicopter too. And I've seen pictures of him and his daughter side by side. They both in their basketball jerseys, biting the jersey. That hit home, right? Wow. I mean, and that's an emotion. I'm not really an emotional dude, but that hit. That was a big emotional thing right there to see that. But you know what, though, Kobe, it's one thing to mourn, but we also got to celebrate him too. He's done a lot of good, especially post basketball. I mean, he won an Oscar. I mean, he was always helping. I saw where he helped and I don't want to bring up car crashes, but there was a major car crash, and he stayed to help the people out. You know, I mean, of course he was young and he made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, he did his best to be helpful towards people, and instill hard work to people. Like, I saw an interview with Stephen A. where he was talking about how Kobe would ask you questions about what you're really trying to do to achieve your goal, how hard you're willing to work for it. And that was Kobe right there. That's when I think of Kobe, I think of that hard work. Also, Jay Williams, when he had the story about Kobe, where Jay was practicing and when Kobe was practicing, doing a shoot around, and when Jay was done, Kobe was still practicing. So he was thinking that Kobe was going to be tired, but then Kobe went off on them. And then after the game, he told him that, you know, I did that to let you know that you're not going to work harder than me. And that's when I heard that story. I was like, well, I mean, I heard this story a while ago, but when I heard that the first time, I was like, wow, Kobe, he will outwork you. I mean, if nothing else, he will outwork you. And that's, you know, like, you know, everybody says this Jordan-esque, but, you know, just like in the last game, like him going for 60 in his very last game is, it's just a testament to his willpower. I mean, he won games. He willed Lakers. I mean, he had teammates like Smush Parker and all that, and he willed them to playoff contenders almost every year. He was a true leader. Now, as far as his leadership, people may not like it, but it got the job done. Like he said, if you're not gonna work hard, yeah, don't be around Kobe. And I saw those traits in his daughter too, which is a tragic thing that she passed too. And my heart goes out to Vanessa and his other three daughters. Also, the families the other people that were on that crash. My heart goes out to them. I just want to say rest with God, prayers and condolences, and for everybody, just make sure that you live life to the fullest, because you never know when it's going to go down. You're not promised tomorrow, and just make sure you let your loved ones know that you love them, and just be safe out there. I mean, live your life to the fullest, and that's what Kobe did. So I was going to say rest in peace to all 9 of the victims in that crash. Kobe, you will be missed. You gave us memories, and you'll never be forgotten. You'll always be memorialized in the hearts of all NBA fans, all sports fans, not just the NBA. So you guys take care of yourselves and be safe. Bye.
Good morning, Level and all. I appreciate you opening up the phone lines, man. We're all in the same space. Just want to keep it brief, talking about Kobe. My first memory, one of my first memories that reaches home for me is when I was in high school, going to United Center. I went to school with Antoine Walker's younger brother, Jarvis, and we were playing Simeon. And we all had tickets later on that night from our high school game to see the Bulls and Lakers play. And my first chance seeing Shaq and seeing Kobe live, and he's just a majestic, regal player, You didn't know much about him, or how much he worked on his game, because he was a fairly private person off the court, but just a ferocious competitor. But he did it with such grace. He competed with such grace, and ever since then, he's always obviously gotten comparisons to Michael Jordan. He was his muse in a sense. He patterned his game after him, patterned his cadence in terms of dealing with the media and dealing with the public after Michael. Excuse me, but just being a true ambassador to the game, we literally watched Kobe's life unfurl in front of us. From hearing about him as a sophomore in high school, foregoing college, going into the NBA, and a 20-year career with one team, 5 championships, all the accolades that you could, ever ask for and imagine. But just a true testament to what sacrificing, yourself, or making sacrifices and devoting yourself to your cause or to your craft truly embodies what Mamba mentality is and what it should stand for. And we should reach down in all of us. We should reach down deep and use Kobe as a muse or as motivation for the things that we want out of life, whether it be wealth, whether it be family, or just, stability within our faith or within our everyday lives, education, etc. Striving for it every day and not making any excuses, not putting any boundaries, any phantom boundaries in front of yourself, where a lot of people will say, they're not qualified to, go after a job or go after this sport or to, stick to this diet or anything like that, where a lot of people would say that they can't. Kobe was one of those that would say that they can, 1,000% without hesitation, without equivocation. I can do this. He would say he could more often than he couldn't. So profound, tremendous respect for Kobe and what he gave to the game and what he gave to the world. It's my honest belief and true in my heart that his posthumous Hall of Fame induction should be unanimous, and it should be immediate. He shouldn't have to wait. He shouldn't have to take the 5 or 7 year, whatever the timeline is. He should go in with the next class, and he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should go in unanimously. Again, like I said, anyone that disagrees and anyone that votes against that, they kind of have to look deep down in themselves and try to figure out what's going on with them as to why they need to get rid of that hate. I'm out here in Miami, obviously getting ready for Super Bowl 54. It's just a crazy mood. Even the weather out here has changed. Yesterday it was 80 degrees. Now it's like 65 and breezy, a little bit chilly, a little bit raining. It's almost as if, God is in a bad mood as well. But yeah, man, it's just crazy to think about what capsulizes Kobe's life. If you even think about it, Bruce, 2006 is when YouTube started. I would venture to say that a little small piece of your legacy of your career, you probably owe to Kobe Bryant, because you started out. He was a true foil for you, a true heel in terms of going after him and creating your platform on YouTube. And that's how, truth be told, that's how a lot of the old school viewers found you. You know what I mean? So he's had an impact on your life, on my life, countless people's lives. We're not even talking about those folks over in China that were turned on to basketball. Joel Embiid himself, he wrote a tweet yesterday saying that he started watching basketball in 2010, and that's what got him into playing, watching Kobe. You know what I mean? So prayers and thoughts, hearts and minds are going out to Vanessa Bryant and their 3 children. Obviously 41 years old is way too young, way too soon, but his 13-year-old daughter, man, that's incomprehensible. It's unimaginable, the pain that they're going through, for that loss. So truly my sympathies and emotions are going out to the Bryant family, to the basketball community, to the NBA, to the Lakers organization, and to Kobe fans worldwide. We're standing together today in remembrance and in love and prayer for Kobe. It's just a really surreal feeling, man. It's almost as if I thought Kobe would outlive me, you know what I mean? And, Kobe's, 10 years older than me, you know what I mean? So it's just crazy, the statement that, Jordan Brand and Nike put out. You're like, man, Jordan outlives Kobe. Mike Magic outlives Kobe Bryant. It's just unbelievable. And in some cases, you were like, well, when he retires, well, what are you going to do after basketball? He's like, I'm going to live. I'm still going to do things. He won an Oscar last year, 2 years ago for his efforts in television. He was already creating a children's podcast with his daughter. Just really stepping into the next phase of his life, the second act of his life, and trying to still be productive and trying to make the world a better place however he could. But this also goes to a testament. There are 2 more things that I want to touch on. One, the testament, I put out a tweet yesterday to let you all know that whatever you're doing, whether it's money, fame, notoriety, that stuff can be taken away from you in an instant, because, when the Grim Reaper is coming for your ass, he wants your ass. And there's no time. We can't take anything with us when we go, and you can't barter from one time. You don't have enough money for the man upstairs when it comes for you. When he calls you home, he calls you home. And the last thing I want to mention before I get out of here, man, I appreciate you opening up the hotline for us. Tell the ones that are closest to you that you love them. Give them the flowers while you can. And for all that shoddy journalism that was going on yesterday, the folks that are running those news organizations or those blogs or whatever you want to call them, and those irresponsible tweets, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You all are reporting news before his family got the word. And I work for a media organization, and we did our due diligence yesterday. And out of respect for the families, out of respect for those that might be affected by this, you all should really take a look in the mirror and see if what institution you're trying to build is going off of shiny journalism. You need to reevaluate what you're doing. So I appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
We'll talk soon. Blitz Team, labeling all them out.
Yo, what's up? What's going on? Blitz Team. It's the boy Antic here. Hope everyone's doing good at this difficult time. So yeah, let me just get straight into it. You know, it's just, the way life works. What was it, on Saturday night, I must have been downloading, Kobe's, podcast. I did a 30-minute podcast, his motivational video on YouTube. And then I just decided that, I would go over, I would listen to it because it's really something that's always always getting me going because I'm looking at that at the same time. I'm looking at some post videos of his footwork, him and Hakeem Olajuwon for 30 minutes and downloading all these things to prepare me so that way I practice for Sunday itself because usually I do my one-to-one practice by myself in my local park during the nighttime. So I always love, looking at his stuff itself. So it's like, yeah, I'm just preparing my mind looking at his stuff because I really grown to appreciate, his work and his play and his dedication to the game and him as a person, of course, from me growing up, from like literally 6'7" up to this point, now that I'm 23 itself, it's amazing. Just going back and looking at his work. And then, Sunday itself, I had a rough day anyway, in the morning as well as the afternoon. So I decided to train at 8:30. At 8:30. So I'm just waiting a bit because it's raining outside. I then leave, and then go to do my local training itself. And then usually I would listen to music. For some reason, something just told me just turn on the internet itself and then go on YouTube and then look at just go on YouTube and then just maybe look for some videos or something because there's local internet anyway around where my park is. So I go, I do that itself, and then I'm trying to search for music. I refresh the home button on YouTube whilst I'm outside and it's raining a bit. And then for some reason, I look on the right hand screen of my phone and then I just see Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. And then at first I thought, no, this is fake. Someone's clearly just doing this for clickbait. This is YouTube and I don't believe this shit. This is fake. Like people do anything on YouTube just for views and reaction. And this is 8:30 at that point because I didn't see anything else. But then I saw that and I'm thinking, I don't believe that. I go, I refresh the YouTube page and then I'm starting to really see some things. Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, no, I don't believe this. I don't believe this at all. This is fake. My brain is at that point is like rejecting, saying no way, no way, no way, no way. I'm starting to practice to get into my moveset whilst listening to some music, and then it's like tears are coming a bit out of my eyes because I'm trying to imagine, but I'm in doubt at the same time. Like, no way, this can't be fake. This is not possible. Whilst I'm literally training as well, like trying to get some jump shots up as well. At the same time, work on some moves as well, and then usually I'll train for about an hour or sometimes 2 hours or more, depending on how I'm feeling. But for some reason, I decided like that day I was going to cut training. Yesterday I was going to cut it completely. I didn't even practice for 30 minutes. I come home. I then come home. I go straight into the living room. I turn on the TV. I go to BBC News over here in London, UK. The first thing I see is R.I.P. Kobe killed in a helicopter crash alongside with his 13-year-old daughter itself. When I saw that itself, my heart was sunk completely. it just sunk. Immediately, I turned the TV off. I turned the TV off. Everything just went off at that point. I spoke with my dad and he's like, so you heard the news itself? Yeah, I heard the news itself. And it was slowly hitting me, but it's like, I've always fucking hated helicopters as well because of all the previous crashes and all these private planes and all these incidents that happened in the past with these guys. But this, this wasn't, this wasn't the day I was expecting to see. Like, literally come home. I wasn't expecting to literally say R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. When I finished speaking to my dad and I cut the phone off itself, I was in my room the whole time and I just saw 1978 to 2020 itself. I couldn't bear it. Just imagine all those memories, all those years I grew up with this dude as well. And it's so true. Like most people, they consider, Kobe their version of MJ, seeing as they didn't really grow up with MJ himself, like the older fellas on the panel did. I mean, for me, I was born in 1996, that last era of the 90s itself. So I only managed to catch glimpses of MJ itself. But Kobe was definitely that dude, like growing up for everyone. Even if you didn't watch basketball, you knew who he was. That's a transcendent name. I mean, for me to be saying, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, 1978 to 2020. What? Are you kidding me for real? Black Mamba, black mentality, Black Mamba mentality, Kobe, and his young daughter was so promising, so aspiring to become a great basketball. Look at her from a young age as well. All over Instagram, all over these newses for women's national basketball as well. Just creeping and improving and improving. And then this tragedy happens itself. Like, I haven't felt this way since a family member passed away, since MJ in 2009. But this one really hit hard. Like, literally, I mean, from 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, probably until 2 o'clock, like, I struggled. Like, it just, real tears just really just coming out. I just couldn't believe this. Just, that child was a train wreck. I didn't even come out itself. I was hoping I would wake up today and see that this was all a dream, this was all a hope. It's no. This is reality. It sucks. we're never going to hear his Hall of Fame speech and all these other things. It's so heartbreaking. I've been thinking about it right now. It crushes me. All those victims in that helicopter as well just killed him and his young daughter as well. That's what's more heartbreaking. Every single one of them. All you can say is just God have mercy itself. I now realize, that life indeed was precious. I always hated that phrase itself because it's so true. It used to scare me, but it really means a lot now, seeing this as well. Yeah, so I hate this quote itself. My God, indeed, see Brian, Julie, and all the victims into, his hands and his care. It's a God console the wife as well as the family, because it is a complete upside down world for them right now. Everything is turned. You can only just give them support and just continue to pray for them. I mean, it's sad. It is really sad. You just only pray for them and hope, that things, they just for the strength, for the courage for them, because it's not easy as well losing, someone, beloved like that as well. An icon, a role model, a father, a businessman, an entrepreneur. I mean, wow. That's like a part of my childhood just ripped away. And imagine how everyone else is feeling themselves. It's hard for me to even look back at all these videos now that I just downloaded 2 days ago. It's so hard for me to even look back at them now itself. In the basketball thing. I don't even want to talk about basketball itself. I don't even want to play the sport anymore. It's like I'm just done with it. It's just destroyed my Monday morning and everything. It's just sad, really. I mean, I just hope you guys are having a good day, and this wasn't what we was all expecting to come together for this occasion, but the only thing we can do is support each other and just try to cherish our time here. Indeed, just reach out with each other to be okay, but stay blessed, this team, and have a good day. Antics, I'm out.
Yo, Blitz Team, it's your boys here, that guy Eddie. Which, before I get into this, I gotta give you a shout out, Bruce. You actually made my name change from the guy to that guy, and I like that way more. But unfortunately, I'm here to call because of the very sad news of Kobe Bryant. Man, listen, man, this one hit home really bad, and I can't believe it. I'm still in shock. I've been, replaying so many Kobe Bryant highlights. I mean, I've stated this before. I'm currently, and still I'm not a Lakers fan because of, who, I don't want to talk about that fucking, who currently plays for the Lakers. But, at the end of the day, Kobe Bryant is the reason I love this sport. And to be completely honest with you, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I was just chilling on my bed, and my roommates, who they're like my brothers, would come in, they're like, bro, Kobe Bryant's passed away, and I thought they would, not that they troll about that type of stuff, but I really thought, no, they're trolling. What the fuck? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Man, I just go on the internet and there it is. It's confirmed. Man, I'm just devastated, man, because growing up a Lakers fan, this man gave me so many great memories, and it's not just about watching the games, watching the great performances this man gave. It's the impact he had on me and my family, me and my dad. Just so many games we watched together. Before I continue, I do want to say, I mean, I remember too, when I looked up, the Kobe Bryant news, there were rumors, at first there were rumors that his daughter was with him, and I was like, please let that be rumors. And no, it was so sad to hear that his daughter was in it. Oh, fuck, bro. And it just made me so sad, bro. So I want to rest in peace to her, and rest in peace to all the victims who were there in that helicopter. But to continue on, I mean, Kobe Bryant, just has a place in there. And I'm going to be honest, part of the reason I'm on this fucking site, and don't take that, I love this site. That's what I'm saying. It's so passionately. It's Kobe Bryant, because I found you, Bruce, through Kobe Bryant videos. And now back then, you had to fight, the overhype, and I get it. And, as time went on, we really got to appreciate Kobe more, even me, because we realized, just how great he was. But he's part of the reason I'm on this site, man. And I'm on this website. I usually don't call, right? But I'm on this site partly because of him, because I wanted to hear, basketball opinions, because I wanted to learn more. And just going back to, I was talking about my parents, and especially my dad, just countless games. And for sure, my favorite memory is, come on, that 2010 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics. I remember I was so hyped as a kid for that finals because, at the time it was 2 years after the Celtics whipped our ass in 6 games, and I just wanted revenge so badly. I wanted the Lakers to win so badly. The championship in 2009 against the Magic was cool. It was nice. Kobe showed that, you can win one without Shaq, but 2010 was different, man. That one was personal, as Lakers fans. And, boy, that finals had me, I don't know, we were down 3-2, we blew them out in game 6, and game 7, man, was just unbelievable. I'll just never forget that day. Just me and my dad watching that Lakers game. And yeah, Kobe didn't shoot the ball well, but he led. He was a leader. He instilled confidence in his teammates, and those teammates delivered in that fourth quarter. And just, man, bro, I remember like midway through the third, we're down by 13 points, and like I'm just dreading, man, just like, oh my God, don't tell me they're gonna go on and blow us out in this game too. It just, my heart was beating fast, and I was dreading. And slowly but surely, the Lakers come back, cut it to 5 points at the end of the third. And then, fourth quarter, we take the lead, hold on to it. Guys like, Kobe hit clutch shots, Derek Fisher, Ron Artest, Sasha Vujacic made those clutch free throws at the end. And just when the final buzzer sounded off, and I'm watching Kobe with the ball, and I'm hugging my dad, and we're just celebrating because the Lakers won. And it was such an unforgettable one, something that I just take with me to the grave, man. And Kobe's last game too, man. That was very emotional. I just remember I couldn't believe he was doing that in his final game, that 60-point game, man. Oh God, bro. It's just, man, I can't believe he's gone, man. Man, I can't believe he's gone. Just, what an ugly feeling I've had all day, man. I remember too, after my friends told me, I just called my dad, and I just started crying on the phone. Him being the man he is, he had to tell me, hey, calm down, son. But I mean, even too, he barely himself, he couldn't hold it. He told me, like, I only called him really quickly, and then we had to hang up because we had to go, he had to go do a running errand. And then my mom called me, and, my mom doesn't know a lot about basketball, right? If anything, me and my dad are the ones who, like, tell her about this sport. And, she calls me, and she's just crying. She's just in tears. And I kind of had to let her go because she was driving. I didn't want anything to happen to her. My sister hit me up like, man, it's just, I still don't think this is real. This is like bizarre world to me, man. And like I'd say 4 or 5 hours ago, me and my dad, I called him again. We had more time to talk this time, and man, we just had a great conversation about, all the memories Kobe gave us. My dad, unfortunately, I was too young to see the 3-peat Lakers with Shaq, but man, he always would tell me about that rivalry with Sacramento, man, and how exciting it was to him to watch those games versus them. He hated Sacramento and Kobe and Shaq. I know Game 6, yeah, but hey, Kings fans, you had Game 7 to win. And, there are a bunch of times too Kobe Bryant just fucking murdered y'all. Just so many memories, man. This one hurts, man. Kobe Bryant isn't, let me see. I got a minute left, but I just want to say, Kobe Bryant, he's an inspirational figure to me. He's somebody that, I've always looked up to. And he inspires me to reach my potential. There's so many things in life that I love, real people or fictional characters that teach me to reach don't teach me, but they inspire me to reach my potential. That's why I love Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady too. That's another guy. I used to hate Tom, but I love Tom Brady, man. Even I give you a character I like, MCU. I love Captain America. I know he got those roids, but still, Daredevil. You name it. Like I can name anime characters like. Shout out to My Hero fans, like All Might. Like, Kobe's one of those people for me that just inspire me to be the best. And rest in peace to the legend, man. Thank you, Kobe Bryant, for everything. And I know God has you up there. Thank you, and everybody in the Blitz team, take care, man. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe, and God bless you all. God bless you, Bruce, for this site. God bless everybody else.
Hey, what up, man? It's a terrible day for a lot of us. And Kobe passing away, and his daughter. So, first off, gotta start with, prayers and thoughts go out to his family.
to the Bryant family and the family of the others who passed away. Last I saw, it was another family that I was with them, and it seems like he left behind 2 other children, along with Kobe's 3 daughters and wife. So, that's the most important, man, is the thoughts go out to them. You look at the impact Kobe had, and it's just like it's unreal. It's surreal. Like, I know my brother and sister, they're both Lakers fans and love the dude. I'll never forget that NBA Finals, or they beat the Celtics, and my sister literally running out the room, cheering, screaming her lungs out when Kobe got that 5th ring. It's just pretty much leaves you speechless, basically. And I totally understand why so many people who are inspired by him are shaken up. For me personally, and his legacy is one of just immense and incredible respect. Especially when I learned about his off the court work and his insane work ethic. I always respect the hard work. Always have, always will. And if there's anyone that's, for a generation of people, the epitome of that, it was Kobe. And it's like, even as someone who wasn't a Lakers fan, wasn't a Kobe fan, you just always respected him. He was always, you didn't want to play Kobe's Lakers, in the playoffs. He was one of those dudes. So you put somebody who had this insane competitive drive that in my lifetime, in terms of basketball, only, Michael Jordan is the only one whose drive is notoriously above that and comparable. You see the videos of his workout routine. You see the videos of the impact he's had, not just in the United States, but out of country. Like, I'll never forget the first time I saw him in China video. That blew my mind. Talk about love and respect, man. That, and like I said, man, just having family members. I'm super close with my siblings, and just seeing how they gravitated towards him. They're my younger brother and sister, so they didn't grow up with MJ like I did. And as many have said, man, Kobe was their Michael Jordan. That was their guy. That's why they're Lakers fans. That's why so many played ball, picked up a basketball. That's why so many shoot hoops and yell Kobe. That's the impact the dude has. And it just sucks, man. The family, losing your husband and father and your daughter and sister same day, that's just a type of tragedy, heartbreak you never hope for, you never dream of, you never expect. And I think for a lot of people, it really does just put things into perspective. And, you can really say, as a fan of the game, as a person who respects hard work and determination, is thank you, Kobe. And just gotta finish it with rest in peace to Kobe, his daughter Gianna, the other people that passed away. You are all loved.
You are real respected.
What's up, Blitz Team? Rafi here, calling back at you. Yeah, so, we all know the topic. When I read the news yesterday, I just thought, I just thought it was one of those, on Twitter, sometimes people retweet shit, out of context that are like retweet news that are 4 to 5 years old out of context. I just thought it was one of those things, but when I found out it was real, I couldn't even carry on to what I was doing the rest of my day, but it just hit me so hard. It just came out of nowhere too, Kobe's he's the first, I'm a lot younger than you, Bruce, I'm in my, mid to late 20s. Kobe's really the first guy from my generation that, the first cultural icon from my generation to really pass away, it just hit me in a weird way, I still, even, today, everywhere I went, from work, even when I went to get food, during lunch, the news just hit everyone, but everyone, whether you're a basketball fan or not, everyone knows who the fuck Kobe is, he just, he had a transcendent appeal that other athletes just don't have nowadays. So yeah, it's a tough loss for everyone. This guy was a competitor. He knew, he played the game the right way. When he played, some people would complain that he, there are times where he shut you out of the game, but this guy always just, went for the throat right away. Sometimes, the aggression didn't work, but nowadays, where players are, playing for their stats and all that stuff, it was just, seeing a guy like Kobe just, reminds you, what the league used to be, and so yeah, man, it's tough, I still can't really comprehend it, I woke up this morning, maybe, come on, this can't be real, I was, secretly hoping, maybe he, somehow survived the crash, but life doesn't work that way. I even had a dream last night that it was, that Kobe, secretly survived the crash and just, made his revival on national TV, and it just still, I can't even properly comprehend my thoughts right now because I'm still, just so shocked by the news. Yeah, so I've gathered myself a little bit more now. I feel like I was just rumbling on a little bit in the last call just because I couldn't really gather my thoughts. So yeah, like I said, Kobe was the real first cultural icon from our gen. I'd say, the late 90s, early 2000s gen that passed away. I know you guys had, Muhammad Ali and a bunch of other guys, but Kobe was, the first guy that was, in his prime in our gen to pass away. So it just, this is the first, big name that passed away in my lifetime that's generally had an impact on my life. Just growing up, there are times, I'd be waking up at, 7 a.m. in the morning to hit the gym, and I would think to myself, maybe I should just, skip it today, just, sleep in. But then I think to myself, what the fuck would Kobe do? And then I just force myself to wake up and, and go anyway. Just little stuff like that just had a big impact on my life. Every time I think of being lazy or quitting, I just, think in my mind, what would Kobe do? And it would just force me to, it would just motivate me to, get shit done and not be lazy and, just, put the work in to complete whatever goal I had. And then, and to the people that are complaining, why are people, mourning over Kobe's death? I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. You have no idea, what impact, there are kids out there that didn't have a father figure growing up. You have no idea what impact, someone like Kobe could have on, little boys and girls that didn't have a father figure growing up, So, those people, they're in the minority. They're in the vast, vast minority. Let's not, give them any attention. Just, if you see them on social media, just block them. Don't even bother to respond. I feel like if we give them the attention they seek, they're just going to keep shit rolling. So anyway, that's all I have to say, for today. I know you guys are going to speak more on this, as the week goes by, and obviously the podcast and the VIP overtime videos, So anyway, man, good night to you guys, and God bless. Bye.
Yeah, guys, it's Justin from Australia. I haven't really been active for a while, active on Twitter and whatnot, but I mean, the death of Kobe is just something that's really sparked the imagination, sparked the emotions and the thought patterns really of, well, I think basketball minds and sports fans in general and people in general all over the world. I mean, you wake up over here on Monday, you know, to a text message as I wake up and check my phone. My mum doesn't even, I mean, my mum doesn't follow sports. She knows I'm a huge hoop fan. She lets me know that Kobe's passed away, so I ring her straight away and, you know, ask her if she's serious. She tells me to turn the TV on, and sure enough, there it is. I mean, the pure disbelief, really thinking, you know, Magic Johnson's the Los Angeles star that's known to be flying around in helicopters left, right, and centre. And then you sort of realise that it's definitely Kobe, and he's gone. I mean, this is a guy who's, you know, Hall of Fame bound this year, will be Hall of Fame bound this year, but a guy who was just such an integral part of the game at the moment. You know, and the fact that he was gone, then you hear that his daughter's gone, then you hear another 7 people are gone as well, you know, and they're all intertwined, whether it be the pilot, you know, the families of the other players on board, you know, and just the grief and sorrow that's, you know, really been thrown around amongst there. It's just hard to fathom a guy at 41 years of age who had, you know, besides an Achilles injury, would probably still be trying to ball his backside off in the league right now, is gone. I mean, one of the 10, 15 greatest players, one of the greatest Lakers to ever lace them up. You sort of don't understand the true global impact of someone like a Kobe until, you know, you really have something major happen. And unfortunately, something like this has really probably sparked the minds of a lot of people. I mean, left, right and centre. I mean, he's the front page story on newspapers. He's the lead news item for most news outlets globally and all over the world. I mean, the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, here in Australia. I mean, you know, there's going to be far-flung places that, you know, Kobe had no idea existed, where, you know, he's been mourned and looked after and, you know, thoughts and prayers and whatnot going straight out to the man. I mean, you don't realise just how much of a superstar, how much of an impact these people have on other people's lives. I mean, you know, for a career perspective, I mean, again, he's one of the 10, 15 to ever do it. I mean, there is a realistic chance he does take the logo mantle. As a fan of the game, I mean, polarising is one way to put it. Kobe's prime saw him as one of the most hyped athletes and loved athletes ever, to the point where he was earning those Michael Jordan comparisons. You know, again, he goes from, you know, that polarising figure, the Jordan comparisons, you know, to the guy as a shell of himself from his athlete, but still had the fight, the will and determination to really want to see his team over the line. And, I mean, the ultimate competitor, probably the second most competitive player the league's ever seen, easily the hardest working player the league's ever seen. And as much as everyone dreamed to be like Mike, he got there. As a fan of the game, you can only laud him for his efforts. As a fan of the opposition, and he knocked my Rockets out of the playoffs, you know, one too many times. The year Yao got injured, the year T-Mac got injured. I mean, that was our real show there. We had a good defensive line going there in Artest and Battier, and just unfortunately couldn't get over the line. He knocked us out there. He goes on to back-to-back titles by himself. He wins an MVP. Him and Shaq combined to be the best duo, certainly of the 21st century, one of the best duos in league history. And his legacy will live on forever. How they honour him, I don't know. But, I mean, it's just a tremendous loss to the basketball community, the global basketball community, and it's just something you really can't fathom. I mean, what do you say? What do you do? You can't really believe it. I mean, in this Olympic year, you know, he's revitalised USA basketball. He brought them back on the winning form. He's had an impact on so many players, female basketball as well. I mean, let's not get it lost here. The fact that, you know, some of the girls he was mentoring, and, you know, families and that he was really guiding with their young careers as well. They're no longer with us as well. And that's something I think we need to, you know, just hold on to and not take for granted the fact that, you know, these are people that were there for the cause as well. And, you know, they're not here anymore either. It's just a shock. It's just something you really can't fathom. And yeah, it's one of those things, I suppose. But anyway, guys, to everyone else in the Blitz team, stay strong. Again, you know, you've just got to keep moving. Hold your loved ones, hold them a bit tighter, and, you know, just realise we're not here, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So just make the most of it. from Australia. Cheers, guys.
Hey, Bruce, Blitz Team. I'm just 24. I figure it's probably kind of late making a call and stuff, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people are dealing with some of the similar stuff. And the whole world, hoops world, same world, sports world, pretty much shook behind what happened. I walked into work that afternoon. I got the news from like a coworker, so biggest part of me. And for people that don't know, that 24 on my name is a reference to him. So most of my life and my makeup and stuff, who I am, is usually directly correlated with the inspiration and the influence that came from him. So when it comes to being hurt, yeah, a guy like me is hurt. The connection though, you share that connection of watching those games on Sunday afternoon, NBA on NBC, or TNT Thursdays, ESPN, think back to I was watching it, the 81-point game in my house with my brother, an older relative who's not with me anymore, and there's just that alone right there. Something that was connected like that to be taken is difficult. So for most people are a wreck right now. And I appreciate what you put out there about people telling people how to mourn. There's a lot of people out here that want to, pretend they're holier than thou, and you can't do this, you can't do that. The world took a loss. More importantly, there are families that took some losses who are also connected with that fight, that situation. So a lot of people are hurt right now, and people hurt. Give them space. Let them think. Let them reflect. Just show you the impact that a lot of individuals in this world can have on you, especially if they resonate with you, whether it be their demeanor, their approach. It's a huge deal. So I think a lot of us are going through the motions and trying to figure out where to go next. And appreciate you opening the hotline and stuff. I needed to get that off my chest. I needed to say that. To anybody mourning, to anybody hurting, keep pushing, keep striving, keep take time to reflect, take time to cherish things, and cherish your family members, cherish the people closer to you.
Hey, Blitz Team, this is Warriors and Niners fan. And, when the hotline opened, I didn't want to call that day. I just watched the video you just posted on the site. So I just figured I'd leave a short call now. Man, it's just, it doesn't seem real, man. Like, it's settled in, but it hasn't really sunk in quite yet. Again, he was my first favorite athlete, so when I first started watching the game around, 07, 08, I was like 8 years old. Yeah, it's crazy. That he's gone. It just doesn't seem right. 41, too young. His daughter 13. Dude, I'm 20 now. I haven't experienced that much. 13, that's just way too young. That's really sad as well. Obviously, the other lives. Man, Kobe just had a profound impact on a lot of people, man. Did he have the most impact ever of any NBA player? Probably. It's close. But I would say his impact on any particular fan was greater than any other player's impact on any particular fan. If that makes sense. Obviously, I made a call a couple months ago explaining that why I thought he was the greatest Laker of all time. And then he was on his way to doing other great things with storytelling, inspirational stuff. Every time a Kobe speech would come out, I'd watch it. Every time a Kobe interview would come out, I'd watch it. You know, you're like a sponge. You try to soak it all in, every word he spoke. Because he was more than just a player, you know. He had that aura about him. So, yeah, it's just very, very sad. And obviously, I feel horribly for the families. Yeah, I'm just going to end it here. I'm just going to say rest in peace to all those involved. And I'll say Kobe and, yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? So, basically, I just wanted to discuss a little bit about Kobe Bryant. It's a very somber mood over a tragic incident, over such a phenomenal player and a great human being. Give you a couple of insights into my feelings about Kobe. So I could still remember 97 and 98, watching those games against the Bulls. I was a teenager at that time, and a couple things I noticed about Kobe was his sense of urgency to get better and the no fear factor. As somebody who actually rooted against him and was not a fan because he's a Laker, I'm from Chicago. I mean, what Chicago fan really, you know, attaches on to the Lakers or anybody or, you know, Celtics. But I watched Kobe's whole career. And another thing that stood out to me was not only that whole Mamba mentality, but you could see Kobe is such an inspiration. You can see his ability to influence so many of the current players today. You see that with Paul George. You see that with Embiid. You see that with Tatum. It's just continue, the list goes on. And what Kobe did was quite amazing, is not only through the Mamba Academy, but through other avenues that we don't know of. He inspired these guys to be better not only on the court, but off the court. And he instilled the Mamba mentality into them, which is hard work, passion, perseverance, and having no fear. Those are some combinations that go well beyond the basketball court, but in life. You can use those in any way of life at any time that you need, whether it's your current job, whether it's working out, or just having a drive or a passion for something that you truly loved, maybe as a hobby. That one thing that really is sad about it is it took time for probably people to realize that sometimes it takes, you know, a death or an incident which captivates you and makes you feel a certain way. And this was one of those incidents which truly caught everybody off guard. As somebody who didn't really root for him as a basketball player until about 5-6 years ago, when I realized he was really the last of his kind in the basketball league, a throwback type player with a cutthroat type of mentality. But not only that, as somebody who absolutely loved his family, loved his daughters. And my heart goes out to the people who all passed away, including his daughter Gigi. Just want to say Kobe's seems great person, an inspirator, and he'll be missed tremendously. I guess it also doesn't matter whether you like Kobe or you dislike Kobe. The point is you respected him. You respected his game, his skill set, and his attitude. And that resonates throughout the league, as you can see today. Many players follow him. That is their Michael Jordan of this generation. And that's very impressive. And to see that type of tree and that mentorship from MJ to Phil to Kobe and the rest of the league is a big inspiration. So it's not something necessarily to be sad about his death, but his legacy lives on. And you can take that type of Kobe mentality anywhere. And to me, that's extremely impressive and says a lot about Kobe being Bryant as a person. Mamba out.
What's going on, everybody? This is Eddie, and I will just, I'm just going to leave my thoughts on Kobe. I haven't even, this is just straight from the heart. I'm also not going to pretend like I was the biggest Kobe fan out there. I mean, of course I've had my criticisms and shit like that, but a lot of that was just, it was just, trolling and just, disliking the Lakers. But beyond that, of course, after Kobe retired, I really began to appreciate him. And I believe I've said that, like, you can go back on the air too. I've been on air saying that. Anyways, forget all that. I mean, the thing about this loss, I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of, it's a monumental loss. Like, that they have that saying, when you lose somebody, when you lose someone you care about, when you lose a loved one, a friend, family, they say you lose a part of you, you lose a piece of you, whatever it is. And not to sound over dramatic, but it just feels that way. And I can't help but feel that way. And the thing is, I thought about that. I've been thinking about that all week. Why am I feeling this way? Why is the loss of an athlete, of a celebrity, why is it making me feel in such a way? Of course, I've been thinking about that in the past few days, and I don't know. I guess I've been able to, I guess understand that Kobe was, of course, he's not just a celebrity. Like, even saying a legend, icon, I don't even know if that describes it either. Like, we all love superheroes. We all, that's the thing right now. We all idolize superheroes. And I guess that's what it is. Kobe was kind of the closest thing we have or had to a superhero. I don't know. Also, just as a basketball fan, I started watching basketball when Jordan got me into basketball, of course. And I kind of stopped a little bit after he retired after the second three-peat. And after watching the second three-peat of Michael Jordan, he was done. I kind of like lost a little bit of interest. I wasn't really paying attention to basketball that much. And then the first thing that put me on to Kobe, I just saw a bunch of kids wearing the Kobe jerseys. Number 8. That's what I noticed. Number 8, Bryant, the Lakers jerseys. That's what I remember, seeing a bunch of Lakers jerseys. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And, I started paying more attention, and I was thinking, oh, okay, the Lakers, Kobe, so this is the new Bulls. And because they weren't the Bulls, and, I started that was the first team I liked, the Bulls. Because they weren't the Bulls, I started hating on them and everything. But anyways, not to get too off track, Kobe was basically, he was a part of my whole childhood, and if being technical, he was a part of most of my adulthood too, watching basketball. That's pretty much all I know. Like, if all of my years of watching basketball, Kobe has been a part of it, and Kobe has been probably the biggest part of it. I was either I'm rooting against him. That was a big part of me watching basketball. That was, I don't know, that the rivalry, any rivalry, that Kobe was a part of, or the Lakers were a part of, it just drew me in. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with Kobe. Kobe just, I don't know, secretly, low key, I admired him. I always admired him. His dedication, his work ethic, his competitive drive. And as I said previously, he, I started appreciating him more after he retired. Especially, I'm not going to dig at anyone right now, but like especially seeing how the game is today, how limited the game is, watered down. Looking back at Kobe's skills, it's just something to appreciate that, or it's just something to appreciate, I guess another reason why this loss of Kobe stings is just how it happened. Like of course he was young, he was still, he's in the prime of his life, and his daughter was with him. There was other families. The first piece of news after his death was hearing about his daughter. That one really affected me. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I feel like the older I get, the more sympathetic I feel, the more I start to understand that bond and love between a father and a child. And we've seen all the recent clips too of the close bond that Kobe and Gianna had. There was just that's the part that just sucks and really hurts is that these two individuals, I'm only speaking about these two right now because those are the only two that I know of right now, is that they had so much to offer the world, to impact the world, and it just got cut short, and it just got snatched away. And of course the families as well, the other 7 that were on board. That stings as well, because you had families in there. You had a mother, father, and with their daughter. That again, that's painful. Just hearing about that, and also, I don't know, this just kept running through my head too. Is just the last moments, like what it must have been like for Gianna, for Gigi. I'm sure like how like just being afraid as you're crashing down, and I'm sure she clutched onto her father, and I'm sure her father clutched onto her, and they were the last seconds. I'm sure they knew what was coming, and just I don't know, that kind of plays in my head, and I guess that's the part that kind of that's affecting me a little bit. But to try to not make this too long and not ramble on, like I said, Kobe. When I think growing up, baseball is my first sport, and when I think baseball, I think Derek Jeter. He's been a part of it for most of my life. And football, I think Peyton Manning, same thing. He's been a part of that for most of my life. But even more so for basketball, Kobe embodied basketball more than the other 2 names embodied their sports. The world has not seen a greater superstar in American sports since Michael Jordan. Like since Jordan retired, we have not seen a bigger superstar than Kobe Bryant. Just how much he impacted the world across not just sports, but just in every facet of entertainment or work in anyone's life. The inspiration, the Mamba mentality, that's like, you can apply that to life. And I know I'm about to get cut off right now, so I'll just say this right now. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, the Black Mamba. My prayers are with you, Vanessa Bryant, and the rest of the family.
Orale, what is up, Bruce? Blitz, how you doing, man? Wish I was calling you under better circumstances, but shit, shit was kind of fucked up, The one thing the word that I kept using over and over to describe Sunday was fucking surreal. It still doesn't feel real, man. Like, it just sucks, and a lot of shit popped in my head too. Like, why the fuck did he have to fly? Why couldn't they just fucking take like a team bus or a fucking limousine, something else, stay on the ground, I was just freaking out, man. I was like, come on, this shit could have been avoided. Like, what the fuck? Why would you fucking fly a helicopter in foggy weather? I don't get it. I don't understand it, man. It's one of those things where I'm like, what the fuck? This shit totally could have been avoided, and it's disappointing, right? I've called on here before saying that I hated Kobe. I didn't hate him as a person. I didn't know him as a person. I hated him as a player because he'd always kill my teams every time. You know, every time we played him, he'd always get we beat him twice, but yeah, he'd always get the better of us and fucking advance and win championships. And I was jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna front it. I was jealous, and I was like, fuck, you know, I wish my team was as successful as the Lakers and shit. I didn't know that was his favorite team. That's cool that was his favorite team. Makes sense, you know. Probably loved the Showtime Lakers a lot. Being that his pop played for Philly, I thought he was probably more of a Sixers fan, but I get it. But yeah, dude, I don't know what the fuck to say, dude. I respected the fuck out of his game. I did. I couldn't stand his ass because he was a killer. He always killed my teams every fucking time. And at one point, like, he teased, like, leaving the fucking Lakers in free agency, going to the Suns. I'm like, shit, I wish he would have did that. Because I don't like when free agent guys, anybody, you know, like, jerks around my team and just fucking says, oh, I'm thinking about joining this team, but yeah, I'm kind of bullshitting right now, so I'm just using you guys as leverage. That's what I took it as, man, because I wanted to see him play for the Suns. That would have been great. He would have definitely fucking took us over the top, man, over the hump. I get it, though, you know, like, he was loyal to that fucking organization to a fault, the Lakers, that is, and I hated seeing it, but it is what it is, you know. I hated seeing it, though. It pissed me off because I wanted him to be a Sun really bad, and he fucking let me down. Fuck, man. Yeah, I really wanted just to see him kick ass for my team and actually leave and be his own man, but I get it, you know. Loyalty to a fault, it is what it is. I don't like how the game is played nowadays, man. It's a bunch of pussies fucking playing, you know. James Harden, what a fucking disgrace he is compared to what it used to be like, you know. And just fucking shot jacking the shit out of it and killing it, like killing the game pretty much in a fucked up way, you know. That's why I'm hopeful for guys like fucking Devin Booker, man. Because he's actually working on his mid-range game. Last night they dominated against the Mavericks. And Booker kept making like a lot of inside, like tough contested shots, you know, like you could tell that he fucking admires and respects the shit out of Kobe because a lot of the shit that he was doing, like, it's Kobe-esque in a way, you know, like the style of play and everything, and it's cool. You don't see that anymore. All you see these motherfuckers do is just jack up fucking threes. That's all you see them fucking do. It's annoying. It's cool that they were able to like honor the memory of him too, you know, with the 24-second shot clock violation and the 8-second backcourt violation. That was cool. It sucked that my team was one of the fucking teams I had to play, you know, on Sunday. I wish they would have just fucking postponed the game or something else. I know Kobe would have wanted them to play, but you can't fucking do shit effectively when you're fucked up like that, you know, like emotionally and just in general, right? And it sucks, man. Like, I was super pissed because don't get me started on the refs, man. They fucked my team over late, you know, just didn't fucking make calls like they should have, and yeah. Even if I was like, wow, these Grizzlies are actually getting favorable calls. Alright, whatever. But kudos to them, you know. Gianna Bryant he's a beast too. Everybody was playing with a lot of heart, a lot of passion in that game. It just sucks, you know, like, I'm always gonna hate losing, you know, I'm a fan. I am who I am, but yeah, the whole basketball community just suffered a major loss, man. It fucking sucks, man. You don't know what you have until it's really gone, man. And like you said, Tupac said, man, the good die young, unfortunately. And it sucks for me too, you know, like, oh man, just dealing with all this bullshit with the deaths and, yeah, why does everything have to come in threes, no? Like Nipsey Hussle, then John Witherspoon, and then now Kobe, like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know much about Nipsey Hussle until he passed. I read up on him, I did my research a little bit, listened to some of his songs. He was actually a good artist, you know, like, a lot of his shit seemed really pure, and I was like, wow, just reading about all the humanitarian efforts that he did, like going back to his old neighborhoods and just trying to make a difference and shit. That was like, wow, that's inspiring. But yeah, that I became a fan of him because of that. Then John Witherspoon passing, that fucking hurt the most. Man. I grew up on Pops, man. I just that dude would always make me laugh, man. And he'd do a lot of cool, funny shit. He just like making people laugh, and that's a wonderful gift to have when you're able to make people laugh like that. When you're able to like make them feel happy, man. That's one of the best things in the world. I start to do that every time. I always do that with a lot of personal friends and shit, and people that I recently meet. I always try to make them laugh, and they get a kick out of my weird sense of humor. But I'm just, and then of course Kobe, you know, just hated him as a player, you know. I'm gonna keep saying that because I am not a fan of those Lakers. I've always never liked them, you know, but I respected the fuck out of his game. Just, I'm like, why is he so fucking good? Damn it, why the fuck is he so good? Thinking about, oh yeah, you know, freaking Booker trying to get me with my shot. I'm like, nah, dude, that's my shot. Like, what? And the respect that he had for the organization, you know, just when he talked about us, that meant a lot, you know, just hearing that. Because when you're the best, you want to face the best competition, and the fact that he held us in that regard too, that meant a lot too, you know, just because, oh man, a lot of those 2000 Suns, they probably should have won at least one championship, man. We could have been the Warriors before the Warriors, man. But I digress on that, you know, just, it was great hearing what he had to say, and the thing that gets me the most though is just Gianna, man, his daughter, man. She was an innocent little girl, dude, like, that really fucking broke my heart. I'm not a father, but I'm an uncle, and couldn't imagine fucking losing my nephews like that, you know, fucking but rest in peace to all those affected, you know. I mean, condolences to all those affected, rest in peace to all the victims. Thank you so much for letting me express myself in this wonderful platform, man. I appreciate all the hard work you put in. Órale, cabrones.
Call me my nigga, I hate it, had to be him. But yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be considered or looked at as someone that has celebrity worship syndrome. So I kind of didn't want to, I guess, let out the tears. That was a decision I made because I mean I'm just someone that said that he doesn't know who I am. You know, why should I cry for someone that doesn't give a fuck about me? You know, doesn't know doesn't know that I even exist or existed. But I mean, I try really hard because to me him dying symbolized the death of my childhood because I'm now 21 years old, and I remember growing up just obsessed with Kobe Bryant and his signature moves. For example, the pull up off the dribble and the fadeaway, which he obviously copied from Michael, but I mean he's smart. I try to put that into my arsenal of skill sets when I will play basketball. So him passing was very
impactful to a lot of people, obviously. I mean, it, yeah, man. Yeah, I didn't shed tears. Just a challenge I did for myself. I don't typically enjoy crying. I try my best not to do that. I don't think it's masculine. But at the same time, when you can't hold it in, just let it out. For example, Michael Jordan, he'll cry when he'll win a championship. Sometimes you just can't hold it in, And when it came to this one, I was able to hold in my tears. I'm proud of it, but at the same time, I just explained why. But yeah, I can't think about living without my father, or someone in my family, and I can't imagine living my life without a family member. But yeah, man. So yeah, I wanted to cry, to summarize all these whole calls. I wanted to cry because I'm a Bulls fan, but at first, before I even became a Bulls fan, I was obsessed with Kobe Bryant. I remember watching him as a kid ever since I was 10, 11 years old, just trying to copy all of his moves before I couldn't even do between the legs dribble. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't athletic, but I feel that I'm confident that if I had some athleticism, I could probably be in the NBA because I studied the shit out of Kobe Bryant's moves. I can do similar jump shots as him. Maybe not as efficiently, but I can definitely emulate a lot of his shots. So I just want to say that Kobe Bryant, even though he wasn't perfect, that dude was a fucking winner.
Hey guys, what up Bruce, what up everyone from the good old Blitz Team. Louis versus the state of Washington. I'm just basically at a loss for words. Well, it was supposed to be basically a day where I was just going to have some breakfast, some pizza, and all of that jazz. Rolex 24 was done. I could be talking about that race, but that doesn't really matter at this point. It shows you a lot that my brother's not the biggest, not just for myself, but mostly the family. Like, I took it that my father was at a loss for words. My mom is at a loss for words. My father's a Lakers fan, hates LeBron. It's just one of those things that even my brother, who's not the biggest basketball fan, his two favorite players are MJ and Kobe. Fact is, we're now in a society without Kobe. Not just him, her daughter Gigi, and the other people that were also, that there's the other 7, including one other family that was with them. I don't know what to think. It's if I put it in a lack of better terms, I'm just mentally and emotionally numb of what to probably be the best is just think about the legacy, the impact that he's left in the game of basketball. Not just in the game of basketball, but it's just a society in general. The fact that we'll never know how memorable, how legendary his Hall of Fame speech would have been later this year. It's unfortunate that something like that has robbed us from many more things he could have done, whether it's more movies, more stuff with the community. All the images, all the videos that I've seen, 41 years old, that's young still, in my eye. That's not old. He still has so much to prove. He's done enough as a player, but now as an ambassador, we'll never know. But one thing is certain, he'll never be forgotten. No doubt he just won't be forgotten. I put MJ as number 1. The only thing that comes remotely close to MJ in my eye is Kobe. How many people use Kobe as a term just to toss a piece of paper? could toss whatever it might be, like some socks or clothes. They used the term Kobe for a reason. I'd imagine those who are older than me or twice my age, or they were like Jews, make them my era. It's the Kobe era. Is basically what it comes down to. Whether it's his legendary performances in the finals against the Celtics when he did it by him. I'm sure he had Paul Gasol and a couple people to help him out along the way. He just had that edge, that sneeze streak that this game is sort of lacking. And I feel like the game of basketball, the state of basketball, will never be the same again. I said this season's already been bad enough from what I read ratings wise, and of course David Stern's passing. This is a huge blow, a huge one. It still doesn't. It feels, I don't know. It still feels numb. Still feels that way. In a time where the game's not the same, to see all those players because they level their impact. Some are still probably playing when Kobe was around. Some of them got into the game because of him. Now the fact that we'll never know how much more he could have contributed to the game, how much their daughter would have contributed to the game of basketball. And Kobe was basically that guy. He was not just a basketball player, he was just an ambassador of basketball, period. He was just an ambassador of sports. He's a household name. But when it comes to aviation crashes in the world of motorsports, there's been way too many of them. Whether it's the Henrik plane crash of 2004, the two modified drivers that died within a 3-year span, Davey Allison, Alec Kowicki, the USEC people, and Graham Hill. There's so many. There's so many that lost their lives, and under those circumstances, and the fact that Kobe is not racing, of course, albeit Ryan Blaney, the sponsorship is with that drinking company that I can't remember the name off the top of my head, the one that Kobe was heavily involved. That's something I'll keep that in mind to come to Daytona and 500 media day in a couple of weeks when I probably might ask the story behind it. Body Armor, that's the name of it. That's the beverage drink. Body Armor. I'll probably, after either I or somebody that follows the game of basketball to an extent or a lot or whatnot will probably want to hear what Blaney has to say. The problem, sure, it was just a sponsorship deal and endorsement and all that jazz, but all around, this is probably the biggest tragedy in sports in a real long time. It has a significant impact. In the world of racing, it's Earnhardt and Senna. Basketball, this one is no doubt to be right up there with Kobe. Even with baseball, you have Roberto Clemente. At the end of the day, while we all think about Kobe, let's not forget about Gigi as well, and Vanessa and the whole entire Bryant family as well. And the families where what I read, the husband, the father and mother, and one of the sisters is gone. Two remaining siblings. Basically, gotta think about them as well. The fact the game will go on, its legacy will live on, and also one of those things that it's going to sting for the next several days. And I don't know how long will it take to fully rest. It just does not fully rest at all. No matter if I write, no matter if I watch a movie, no matter if I talk about a sporting event. Catch you guys later. Of course, Godspeed. Kobe, thank you for the entire memories in the game of basketball. And the best thing to remember him is just the Mamba mentality. And what he brought to the game that brought back transition in a time that we just find hard to believe in the soft sport that is. Anyways, catch you guys later.
What's going on, Blitz Team? It's Logan Brannigan from Michigan. First off, I wanted to send my condolences to the Bryant family. Of course, losing Kobe and his daughter. And I'm not a huge basketball fan by any means, but I know the impact that Kobe had on the NBA and sports in general. Like, he was a household name, and when I was hanging out with a couple friends of mine, showing them the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We had gotten a notification on our phone that Kobe Bryant had died. We're like, wait, what? And then I found out it was a helicopter crash, and this was kind of like to backtrack a little bit. Back in the 90s, one of the best guitar players in the world, Stevie Ray Vaughan, had died in a helicopter crash as well. So it's bad enough that we lost Kobe, but we also lost one of his 4 kids as well. And apparently there is a lot of other people that were on the helicopter as well. I had just seen on Facebook. And it was a very, very sad day for NBA fans and just a sad day for everyone in general. And there was a total of 9 victims in the helicopter crash, including Kobe Bryant and his daughter. So I send my condolences to the Bryant family and to all the families that were affected, all the relatives that were in the helicopter as well. So,
what's up, Blitz Team? It's your boy Abdul. What's up, Bruce? What's up, Frank, Kelvin, and Eddie? What's up to all you guys in the panel? What's up to MG and everybody, man? R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. R.I.P. to the legend, the GOAT, the Black Mamba. I still can't subscribe it, man. I've been heard on Twitter on Sunday. Oh my God, dude. That one really broke me. That really broke me with Kobe. I mean, man, Kobe Bryant, 5-time champion, an MVP and all of that. The guy is a legend. That dude is a legend. I mean, Kobe Bryant was a killer. We're not going to see players like that no more. We ain't going, not going to see a player like that anytime soon. And it just breaks me, man. And shout out to Kobe, R.I.P. to the legend, Black Mamba, one of my favorite basketball players. One of my favorite ones, him and up there with Michael. I mean, obviously Michael's number 1, but him is second. But it breaks my heart to see him die, man. It really does. In my generation, what we did was, when we played basketball, we said, Kobe, like, that's the best thing we do. Every time we play ball, it's Kobe, and all of that. Like, when we shut the net, like, I got it, Kobe, right?
Hey yo, it's your good old pal Rube from North Carolina. Today is a sad loss of one of my favorites, Kobe Bryant. And I feel bad. It made it even worse. His daughter Gigi died with him, and other passengers. It was a tragedy. Here's my favorite moments of Kobe. Hit that game-winning shot against Miami. Buzzer beater. And my second one's probably that first. Kobe gave a alley-oop to Shaq against the Blazers in 2000. And my third probably scored 81 points. Since I lost, condolences to his family. Tough loss. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Bruce, for the tribute. I'm out.
Hey, this is Nick Keith, Kansas City, bro. I was calling to say, man, this is crazy. Kobe gone, Bruce. It's messed up. When I first heard about Kobe, I didn't really know much about him because I was still young young boys right there. And what I heard about Kobe was thanks to you and the Blitz team and all your stories about him. And I'm like, what's this guy about? This guy's cool. And then I watch these highlights, these games of Kobe, and I'm like, wow, this guy's awesome. And my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, to his daughters, to his wife. And I watch these games and I saw how he played with heart, with broken fingers, with an Achilles, and I'm like, this guy's awesome. And then I saw, after the fact he retired and all that, I saw that what came when he retired. I'm like, he went on top of what he wanted to do. That was awesome. And then I saw this day basketball video. He got nominated for the Oscar. It was beautiful. And I would like to say, Bruce, that I'd also press go out to the Kobe family once again, Kobe's family once again, his friends, all that. And Kobe was the man, Bruce. Rest in peace. It was good talking to you, brother. Bye.
What's going on, Blitz Team? This is Paul here from the UK. Man, I mean, it's just, it's pretty goddamn fucking tragic. I mean, how I first found out about it was me and Adam were playing Call of Duty. We were just talking about stuff, you know, just bullshit, just talking about random stuff. And then Logan Facebooks me with a link, and I thought, what the fuck's this? And it was a TMZ link that said that Kobe Bryant died. And we were playing the video game stream, and I was like telling him, I was like, oh fuck, dude, Kobe's gone. He's like, what? I'm like, man, it's just, you know, I'm just fucking lost for words. I mean, I don't follow basketball as much as most people do, but I am aware of the impact he made. You know, not just in the sport of basketball, but what he did outside of basketball. You know, all the charity stuff that he did, which is something that I can, you know, respect for somebody doing. I mean, this guy went out of his way to literally help homeless people out, help them, you know, get back on their feet and help them maybe get scholarships or something, which I read into a little bit. And I just think that's very, it's very, very, admirable for someone, for someone to do that. I mean, there are some famous people out there that do stuff for charity, and that's cool and all, but this guy went like above and beyond to help these people out. And that's the one thing about Kobe that I remember the most, is that, you know, the stuff he did to help others that was not as fortunate as him, you know. So that's something that I could, you know, identify with big time. And to hear this news report of what happened to Kobe, man, and his daughter, it's just a case of, man, how the fuck did that happen? When I was reading into it more, and and how the helicopter just crashed, I was like, man, how the fuck does something like that happen? You know, it's just, I mean, you kind of think, you know, you kind of get yourself thinking, like, why is it it's always the good people that always die horrifically, and it's always the assholes that die peacefully? You know, that's something I've always kind of wondered. I think to myself, man, why is it always the people that generally want to help people end up dying horrifically, and it's always the douchebags that die peacefully? I just don't get it. You know, and the fact that he passed away at the age of 41, yeah, it's just, oh man. I was looking at all the Twitter feeds and seeing how everybody's responding to it. I mean, I just left a tweet saying R.I.P. Kobe, gone but never forgotten, which is pretty accurate. He may be gone, but no one's going to forget what he did. Not only what he did for the NBA sport and how much of an impact he made, but also people are never going to forget the stuff he did outside of the basketball world. And it's just, oh man, this is one of those where were you when it fucking happened moment, you know what I mean? So it's just, but if there's one thing there's another thing I'll say about Kobe is that his work ethic, and the fact that this guy really pushed himself to the limits and again inspired a lot of people to be the best they can be. And I guess that's one thing I'm probably going to take away from that. When it comes to what I'm trying to do in my life, I'm trying to be the best I can be. If that's one thing Kobe has taught me and others that are trying to achieve something in their lives is, to try and be the best you can be. Anyway, guys, I got to get going. College and everything. Shout out to everybody on the website and the panel, and rest in peace, Kobe. See you later.
Rest in peace to Kobe and Gianna and all those other victims of the helicopter crash. This is so good. It's just pretty devastating news that came on Sunday. They had a lot still to live for. If you can understand that, 41. Kobe only retired a few years ago. And, his life has been taken away, and also his own daughter, who we all know what they were doing for basketball and for basketball teaching and all that, and for that to all go down on Sunday is pretty shocking. And rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and all others who died in a helicopter. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hey Bruce, it's Ben. I'm just calling in to give my thoughts on the whole Kobe Bryant passing away thing. When I was told about it was my fiance that came into the living room, and she asked me, what are you watching right now? And sort of sarcastically I said, the Pro Bowl, because I had it up so freaking loud with the subwoofer and soundbar. I didn't know how she didn't hear that there was a football game on. She's like, I'm surprised they haven't cut into the Pro Bowl yet to announce the breaking news. And I said, cut into the Pro, and I froze right away. Oh shit, who the fuck? And I said, oh shit, who the fuck died? And I immediately in my head, I think of older people, old famous people. Either the two that popped into my mind right away of someone that might have died that they'd cut in for would be Jimmy Carter because he's a past president, and Betty White because she's been in acting for 80 years. Those are the two initially that I thought might have died that they would cut into a meaningless Pro Bowl game to give the breaking news. But when she said, no, it's Kobe Bryant, at first I didn't believe it. I was like, no, it's not Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant didn't die. But then, sure as shit, 10 minutes later, they cut right into it. And they say, and then they tell me that Kobe Bryant died. And I had no idea what to do or what to say. Football was always my favorite sport, so I never followed Kobe as in-depth as those that eat shit and sleep basketball. But, I mean, I watched, the majority of the time that he was on TV, I was watching at least portions of the game, just because it was Kobe freaking Bryant, and it must-see TV whenever he's on. And so it was a complete shock when he died at only 41 years old, and in such the fashion that he did. And to make matters worse, you hear that his daughter passed away on there. I mean, there were all the wild speculations, all the different news reports coming out initially that, his whole family was in there, Vanessa and all his other daughters and all of this. So it was all these, I mean, I get off on all these stupid news agencies that just wanted to be first instead of wanting to be right, and they just throw out random speculation things just for clicks and all that. So initially, other than him passing away, I had no idea who else was in there. Was it other family members? Was it someone else in their family? Which ended up turning out to be that, because his name slips my mind, but whoever that guy was, and his wife and his kids were all killed in that too. John Altobelli was one of the other guys' names. That was some baseball coach for a college in the Los Angeles area, and his wife and his daughter all died in the same thing. Any of his siblings, his wife's siblings, or if their parents are still living, they have to be absolutely distraught. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. Likewise with Vanessa and with Kobe's other kids, it just doesn't seem real. Just call up your loved ones, tell them you love them. If you live within the same town as them, just drive over there and hug them, because you never know. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. It's cliche, but tomorrow's never guaranteed. Hug your loved ones. If they're in a close enough area to you, hug your loved ones. If not, just give them a call and let them know you love them. It's the little things like that. Just do that. Take care of the team.